and hanging up last minute.
We made it.
I just saw your note.
Which no? Oh,
we're cooking up wassail and hanging up last minute Christmas lights and cooking up some gingerbread cookies.
Yeah,
all at once.
That's right. Yeah, we're trying. But we're here. Glory to God.
Hi, Zeke.
And we've got a friend who joined us. Welcome.
Nice to see you.
We're glad you're here. If you're watching this later, we're also glad you're here. We're sorry that you couldn't be here live. It's more fun to do this live, and it's like listening to Art Bell back in the day. It was always fun to listen to the crazy call-in, the wild card line. But if you're listening to the archived version, we're glad you're here too. Welcome. Merry Christmas.
When you were in Canada, did you ever listen to Stuart McLean and the Vinyl Cafe?
No, I was not supposed to be partaking of secular media while I was a missionary. Now, I was not perfectly obedient to that, right. But I tried really hard to be. Well, I didn't, I mean, it was very difficult, but yeah, I didn't listen to radio.
Okay. Oh, Vinyl Cafe was the best.
I bet that sounds, just the name. It's in the name, right?
Yeah. He was a storyteller. And you can listen to his stuff on, it's always this family, Dave. Oh gosh, now I can't remember the name of the family. The dad's name is Dave. He owned a record store in Toronto. And when our state-funded media got woke and went broke, he got booted. And I mean, he was like a household name in Canada, and there's nothing just all of a sudden all these people started disappearing. All these,
like Don Cherry, right? Another
and
legend.
And there was another thing on Sundays, cross country checkup with. He just died recently. He had a couple conversations with Jordan Peterson. He was a good friend of Peterson's, a guy from Newfoundland. He was a journalist in Canada forever. He got booted. Yeah. Anyway, all the good programming just gone. Now you have, I think I told you once, I don't even bother anymore, but I used to play a game where I'd turn on CBC in the car, just turn it on and wait for how long the woke words popped up. You know?
Yeah.
And it would usually take about 3 seconds, then I'd shut it off. Yeah. Then I'd wait for 15, 20 minutes, turn it on. See 3 seconds later. Yeah. And it was just constant, just
the same thing happened to NPR. Like I used to listen to NPR. I'm not left or right, really. I'm kind of a mix of everything. But I used to really enjoy NPR. There was a lot of really good radio on there. Good storytelling. We have a local guy named Doug Fabrizio who did a lot of local interviews, a lot of documentary kind of stuff, like opening up, really exploring some interesting topics. It was just great. And then really it was like when Trump got elected, it was like overnight. It was in 2016. It just overnight it became woke, and they even had like a a tagline. I can't remember what it was, but it included.
Did they get rid of
for those people who are woke and ready or something like that? It was just like, oh geez. Okay. And it was like a transformation, and like you're saying, like within 6 months, all of the stuff that I used to listen to was gone. And then they just had a bunch of other stuff instead that I was not a fan of.
Yeah. So, I know it's nauseating. It's like having someone going all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
Like, please leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm already married and have 3 daughters. I don't need more of that. Yeah. I have enough like tone policing in my life already. I don't need it coming from the radio.
Yeah, well, anyway. So Jeremy was on an adventure, as you can see in the background.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hide Shari, sorry. And then I'll bring her back. But anyway, yeah, that's one of the pictures I have.
Wait, do it a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Here we go. I didn't know if you felt left out because I hid you for a second there. So I was in Iceland for vacation, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. I love the country. I love the people. Food was great. It was expensive. It's an expensive country to visit. It's an expensive place to eat. But and even like we were not going to fancy restaurants, just average restaurants were pretty pricey.
But did you do any grocery shopping?
A little bit, yeah, we did a little bit, but we were kind of in an area where it was hard to get to like a normal grocery store. There were just like bodegas around with, no meat department, no bakery, anything, just like candy and ice cream, basically.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like, we couldn't save a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
But no, it was, oh man, I don't even know where to start. But I will say we went out to look at Northern Lights one night, and we were outside of the city about, 40 miles or so, or 60 kilometers for those of you who are burdened by Freemason measuring units. We were out, and we went to this one place, and we just saw this one little kind of streak, and it was like, oh, neat, okay. And it was really cold, it was really windy, and he's like, oh, I got this other spot. So we went out, we were right by the beach. So the wind, it was like 20 to 30 mile an hour winds just coming right off the water. So, and like north.
Wow.
We were like the ocean was to our back, and we were facing north watching the Northern Lights. And the whole sky was cloudy, couldn't see anything. And, there's really nothing. And we stood out there for like half an hour kind of waiting. Nothing happened. And finally we were all, cold, and we got back in the van, and we were about to leave. He was going to take us to another spot. And then it was like, he was like, oh wait, hold on. And he pulls out his camera, and he like takes a couple pictures, and he's like, hold on. He hops out, and he's like, he gets back in a couple of minutes. He's like, hey, it looks like there's something developing. You might want to hop out. I don't know if it's going to get better, but this could be cool. And we got out, and like the whole sky had opened up. The clouds all just kind of burned away. And then it just started in this one little area, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as you can see, like you can't even, I'll show it again. You can't even, this is only half the sky. This is looking north. And you can't even see, there's another half of this. The other half of the sky looks just as fantastic. And it's just slowly moving. It looked like the smoke looked like smoke like coming out of the North Star, basically, or out of like the northern horizon, and it's just like moving, and you can see it moving over you, and and it's just mesmerizing. And so we were, I took like, I don't know, 200 pictures or something, and then finally it was just like, well, I just want to watch it now. I'm just lying on my back, so we were all just laying on, black sand beach,
nice,
staring at the sky, freezing our asses off. And but it was just it's intoxicating, and it's like, it's so big you can't even hold it in your head, There's no words for it. It's just it's so beautiful. So anyway, that's me spouting off on Northern Lights. But we went on whale watch, saw humpback whales. We went to Hot Springs, Blue Lagoon. It was really beautiful. It was great. Cool. There was a really cool Lutheran church that was built there in the early 20th century. Big cathedral. It was gorgeous. So anyway, great place. Love it. Would go back. There's lots more to do. Really fun.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go because it's halfway between North America and Europe. And I thought, you could fly to Iceland, stay there for a week. Yep. See Iceland, and then fly to Europe. And I wouldn't arrive so jet lagged, because I'm always baked. But when I get to Zurich or whatever. Yeah. And but I mean, it's so expensive, right? To stay there for a week. It's like,
it was. So the reason we went is my daughter, this was her graduation gift. She, like with each of the girls we've given them, they've, the other two have just, the oldest one went with my wife they went to Turkey and stopped in Italy along the way. Nice. And then my middle daughter hasn't had her trip yet because she was a missionary in Vietnam at the time, and now she's pregnant. So that's been delayed. But anyway, but then my youngest daughter, she always wanted to see the Northern Lights. And so my wife looked into where can we go that's kind of a reasonable price that might be something kind of exotic and cool. And it was basically Finland, Sweden, or Iceland. And and we chose Iceland, and man, no regrets. So fun.
Choice.
Really,
Good choice.
really great.
Yeah.
It was really fun. So
yeah.
Yeah. But so one thing that was really interesting, I think you would really like there, was like the culture was a lot more, how do I say, traditional, as in like, it's so weird. It's such a contrast. It's such a paradox, because you see signs of it being very progressive all over the place, right? There's rainbows and and other stuff going on that's just like, okay, clearly we're in a progressive place. However, they also will constantly be telling you about elves and trolls and Christmas cat and ogres, and it's all still there, right? It's all, like we're on a tour and the guy's like, oh, see that mountain? It's a mesa. It's a flat top hill over there. That's called the mountain of Hidden City. That's where the hidden people live. That's what they call the elves, or in Ireland, it's the fairies. It's the same story.
Yeah.
Origin story, right?
Yeah.
And it's all there. Like they don't try to explain it, and they don't try to explain it away.
Right.
It just is. It's just their culture.
Yeah.
And they're obviously rooted to Scandinavia. They were ruled by Denmark for a long time. They were ruled by Norway for a long time. And then they were independent. And anyway, it's fascinating. And then they did like exclusive trade with Denmark. So, there's clearly a Scandinavian influence, the Vikings and the Viking stories and all like that. And that's everywhere, that imagery. But at the same time, they have their own little unique way of seeing things because of their isolation.
Yeah, and I mean they
didn't have a lot of trade with other cultures and environments and situations. It's just like, it was just all about survival. I mean, it was so hard to survive in that place.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So very hardy people, very loving, but very like community oriented. No crime. No. Okay, here's another fun statistic for you. There's 400,000 people in Iceland. Currently, they have 53 people in prison.
Wow.
And they're all foreigners.
Did they? Oh, yeah.
They're all people from.
They haven't had any immigration, I bet, right?
It's starting. They have about 30,000 people from Poland. They've got about 5,000 people from Lithuania.
Okay.
And then they've got smaller numbers from many other countries. So they do have quite a bit of immigration, but still very little crime. It's just starting to creep around on the edges. There's some weird stuff coming in. Their main crime problems are drugs, but like I said, they have 56 people or 53 people in prison right now out of 400,000 people. So it's just, and there's like 3 cops on the whole island. Maybe not. I'm exaggerating, but only a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I saw 1 cop the whole time I was there, and I saw 1 ambulance. So,
yeah,
crazy.
And how big is it? Like, if you drove to the farthest point, how long would it take?
I think you can drive around it in like 24 hours. But
around it. But like, if you
all the way around.
Can you do it straight across at all?
I don't think so. Most of the roads are around the outside.
Around the edges.
I don't think there's because it's like the highlands. There's mountains. There's volcanoes in the middle. They don't. That's where the ogres live and the trolls.
Right.
So But
anyway. Well, I've also had a fascination with their sheep and wool culture.
Oh yeah,
because they have their own breed, Icelandic sheep, and Gotland sheep, the ones that I have. So to bring them into Canada, they couldn't import actual animals in from Sweden to Canada. So what they did was they started an upbreeding program where they ship semen and they impregnate foundation ewes. And there are 10 different breeds that you can breed to Gotland to that are related.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is Icelandic sheep. So, and then what you do is you just keep upbreeding until you get 100% Gotland,
I see. Yeah.
So there's not very many. My sheep are 75%. And but there's not very many Gotland sheep in Canada. There's lots of half Gotlands,
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I'm just sharing another picture while you're talking, sorry.
Oh yeah.
This is beautiful.
But I got a fleece from a lady. There's quite a few people around here that have Icelandic sheep. And wow, look at that, eh?
Oh yeah, these were just pictures with cell phones. These were me and my wife and my daughter just taking pictures with cell phones. And it's you can't even really like contextualize it. It just doesn't fit in your brain. Anyway, this is us under the lights.
Gorgeous.
No, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sorry. Anyway, I meant to like turn it off, not to.
No problem.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
There we go. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. But anyway, yeah, no, there's wool everywhere. The wool blankets, and it's a very coarse wool. It's like tweed.
Well, that's what I wanted to tell you about it.
Yeah.
So let me just grab something really quick. You can show more pictures. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I'll pull up more pictures. Did I close it? No, I did not. Let's see what else I got. Oh, I can show the pictures of the horses, because the horses are also unique. Let's see. There we go.
Okay, time for a wool study. Oh, look at that Icelandic
horse. These are the Icelandic horses, yeah. So they're kind of like in size, they're between a pony and a horse.
Yeah.
They're not as tall as a horse, they're shorter. But
and they have a special gait called a tilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they do this. And they're kind of a smooth ride, actually.
That's the story, yes. And what's crazy is when you see the ground and then you see how smoothly they can move over that ground, it's mind-blowing, because the ground is all just very rocky, and I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it's just rock under there. There's hardly any soil. I mean, I think in this area it was a little more soil. There was a little bit more of a farm area, but even here it's like mostly rock, and there's rocks everywhere, and so that's usually not great territory for horses.
Where would they get hay? Or do they have it?
They do. They grow hay, but they subsist off of the grass that grows. I mean, they do have grass that'll grow there, but they do feed with hay, and then they just import it. But they've been there for 1,000 years. So
yeah, they've been there forever. So
yeah, they've been isolated. They don't interbreed them, and if they sell one of these horses off of the island, it can't come back.
No,
because they don't want to. It's all sequestered. They don't want to keep it. They don't want to have any kind of problem.
Yeah, they don't want any diseases. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the.
Okay, so this is Icelandic wool here, Alafoss. Oops, Alafoss Lopi. And it's made by Istex, which is the one and only wool mill in Iceland. And when you touch it, it's very coarse and rough. The reason for that is because Icelandic sheep have a dual coat. So they have an outer coat and then they have an inner coat. And as a spinner, if you're processing a fleece, what some people do is they separate the outer from the inner, which is like a huge amount of work. And I had a fleece and I didn't bother with that. So all processed wool I find rather lifeless in comparison to hand spun. But this will actually over time get soft, because what they do is they don't separate the dual coat, and the softer fibers kind of with time come forward. But this is a pair of mitts I made with a fleece that I did. And it's like so soft. And I never separated the coat. Actually what I did do, it was a brown and white fleece. Okay. This sheep was like spotted. And so I pulled all the brown sections out, separated those, and then I pulled all the white sections out, and I spun them up separately.
Nice.
And but the difference between this and this is you wouldn't even know it's the same wool.
That's interesting.
This is really soft.
Yeah.
And this is really coarse feeling. But I use these in all my sweaters because I don't dye. And if I want color, then I need something. Right. So I use that, and it gets really soft over time.
Yeah, it wasn't like unpleasant. It was just, I just noticed it was coarser than most, because I have quite a few wool blankets, and yeah, it definitely had a different feel to it.
It's picky. It's definitely picky, but you just got to, you got to be an Icelandic person and tough it out, man.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta, yeah, that's right. Well, that was one thing one of our tour guides said. He was just like, I'm sorry, but like most of our fairy tales and folk tales are actually really dark. And I was like, well, it makes sense. You live in a very dark place, right? It's like literally and figuratively, you live in a very difficult place to live. You have to be kind of mentally prepared for that. You need to have some like constitution about you, or you're just not gonna make it.
And I'm telling you, like I've been deep diving into some Viking history, and especially the archaeology where they did these ship burials and stuff. And there's okay, so this is really interesting. There was an Arab guy that went as a trading negotiator, went to I'm trying to think of where it was now, somewhere in Scandinavia. I think it was probably Sweden somewhere. And the year, it must have been in the 800s or something. Okay,
that's when Iceland was settled.
And he wrote an account. So the chieftain of the village died while he was there, so there was a funeral, and he wrote this incredible account. It's one of the only textual accounts, like eyewitness accounts of a Viking funeral. So that, archaeologists have been finding these ship burials all over the place, but they can't really figure out what's going on because every single one of them is staged differently. And this one guy his name is Neil Price, and he's headed up a huge project in Sweden on this. I think they're presenting all their work this year. And he has a theory. Of course, he can't prove it because he doesn't know a Viking to ask him. But he has a theory that every burial is a story.
Yeah.
So he gave the example of the last scene of Hamlet. The last scene of Hamlet where everybody's dead on the stage.
Yep.
And he said, just imagine the last scene of Hamlet. And that's what you find when you're excavating this ship burial or anyone's burial for that matter. And he said there's not any two burials are the same. There are some themes, like there are some continuation things that can be found in these burials. But the placement of people, like, it's insane. Anyways, I don't even want to tell how grotesque this textual, this Arab guy, what he wrote about this funeral. One of the things I can say is they took 1/3 of the man's wealth, and that went towards the burial. 1/3 went towards alcohol. And for the full 10 days, and they temporarily buried him. And they buried him with some alcohol and a musical instrument and one other thing. So he's like partying while he's waiting. Okay. And then they get to go to town on this whole, and they actually made all the clothing that went on the bodies of people, because lots of people died at a funeral. not just the dead guy. Okay.
Wow.
Lots of animals died. Lots of animals were killed. Okay.
Right.
And, I'm saying this because you said a lot of their mythology is really dark. Well, their culture was dark. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And, I was thinking, I wanted to say this before I forget. They had to drink alcohol the whole time to excess.
Mm.
And Neil Price said, as archaeologists, we always thought that these ship burials were done by sober people.
Huh. Yeah.
But now we have to question that.
Right.
How sober were these people? But they didn't drink because they were partying. They drank because they had to. And some people, this Arab guy says, some people died from drinking the alcohol to excess. Okay.
Yeah.
Like alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
And, anyways, so I was thinking to myself, I wonder if this kind of accelerated, because you don't have that kind of excess ship burials and all that kind of thing till later on in the Viking Age. So it's kind of like Rome, how, Rome gets really decadent, right?
Yeah.
And this stuff really accelerates. And of course, people are accumulating more and more wealth. So in this guy's case, he's a chieftain, so he's very wealthy. And so there, yeah. But then I thought, I wonder if because the Vikings, which is kind of like a very generic term, but these people, they converted rather easily to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who I was talking to, but I asked the question, I wondered how much were they just sick and tired of all this blood?
The madness. Yeah.
The madness. Like it was seriously madness. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you think about that in contrast to the gospel, like the Helliand that we read, right?
Yeah.
Where you have a chieftain who loves and cares for his people and dies for them, and nobody else dies. And,
the contrast is pretty stark.
It's really quite amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting story when Iceland converted to Christianity. It was around year 1000 or 1050, something like that. And there was a Norwegian king who had converted, who then wanted Iceland to convert as well. So he sent missionaries over, and it didn't really go very well. And then they came back, and then another missionary came back, and basically they had a big meeting, and the way they organized it was there were different regions of Iceland, and they each had a representative that would go to a main valley, and they would meet, and they would like decide the fate of everybody in the island, and they did it once a year. It was like their parliament, basically.
Yeah.
And they voted on everything, but they had one guy who was known as he was the law keeper, and he had it all memorized because they didn't have written words at the time. So he had the laws memorized, and they basically were like, should we convert? We don't want to convert. Some people didn't want to convert. And they said, well, we'll let the lawgiver decide, and whatever he decides, we'll do it, because everybody respected him. And so he went and fasted and prayed meditated for 24 hours. He covered himself with a I think it was a reindeer skin, or no, it was a sheepskin. And he just sat there for a day. And then he came back and he said, we will convert externally, but what we do in our houses will be our business. And basically there were two constellations. They were like, we're going to convert to Christianity, but we're going to they kept the practice of baby abandonment, because that was just common practice at that time. And it was their own survival. So like poor families. So they would practice. That was one thing they kept. And then they also kept.
My light went out.
Yeah, I saw that. They also kept the practice of eating horse, which kind of the Christians were like, no, you can't eat horse. But the deal was, the reason why eating horse was forbidden is because it was actually tied to a sacrifice to a particular god and to a pagan god, and they wanted to still be able to do that. And so they did keep those two things, and I don't know how long those two stipulations kind of stayed as part of their conversion, but they were Catholic for 500 years, and then like in 1550 or so, they killed the last bishop, the Catholic bishop. They were going to behead him, and then the people were like, no, if you touch his blood, you'll be cursed for eternity. And so they took him out behind the church and drowned him. And then that converted the whole island to Protestantism.
You know, I was listening to this one guy talking about Iceland, and he's a Old Norse philologist. And when the quote unquote Vikings arrived in Iceland, there were Irish monks living there.
Yeah. St. Brendan was rumored to have
landed
there.
Did you watch the series Vikings?
No.
Oh, you need to watch it, because
there's
a whole Iceland section.
Oh, cool.
And there's one main character named Floki. He's a boat builder, and he's kind of resistant. It's the whole series really is a battle between paganism and Christianity.
Interesting.
Like, that's the golden thread through that whole series. It's really interesting. And Floki is kind of holding the pagan ground. You know, he just hates Christianity. And he ends up in Iceland partially to get away from Christianity that's happening in Scandinavia. And he goes, you know, then Iceland starts getting converted, you know. And he decides to go off into a cave, and he goes into this cave, and there's a cross in the cave. And I always wondered, what in heaven's name is that cross doing there? Why would there be a cross in a cave in Iceland? And it was answered when I was listening to this interview with this philologist, you know, that there were already, before the Vikings got there, there were Irish monks there.
Yeah.
I got to find out more about that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
I haven't been able to find any really.
Maybe we could find some long forgotten saints.
Yeah.
In Iceland.
Yeah. Well, they definitely commemorate St. Brendan, and they commemorate St. Nicholas because they're all fishermen, right? And St. Nicholas is like the patron saint of fishermen. So St. Nicholas is big there, and then and St. Brendan is big there. But I wasn't able to find. I mean, there were some Catholic saints, you know, of course, but I didn't find any Orthodox saints that were tied to Iceland, other than St. Brendan.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say. But no, I did pick up some literature. I picked up quite a few books. I picked up a few books of Icelandic fairy tales and folk tales. And I got one book of like Icelandic history. So
awesome.
I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah. It's
cool.
really enjoyable. Yeah.
Were you having any Helliand flashbacks by any chance? Not really.
Not really.
I mean, it's a different culture, but it's related.
Yeah, it is. It was, I mean, it's definitely, I was surprised at how comfortable they were with the mythical. That's how I would put it. The mythical was like integrated into their culture. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something they felt like they needed to explain, but they also didn't explain it away. They just said, this is, you know, that's where the elves live. See that rock right there? That's because a troll was out walking when the sun came up and it got turned into a rock. How else would a rocket, how else would that big rock get there? Right. That's what they say. So it's just like, they take it. They don't try to empirically prove the traditions that they've been handed, or they don't deconstruct it. It's just integrated into their culture. And I found that very refreshing. I found that I found it very hopeful.
You know, when I first joined Bridges of Meaning years ago now, it's kind of scary, but anyway, long time ago, there was an Icelandic guy on there, and he had married an American woman, and I can't remember exactly the circumstances, but he couldn't get back into the States. She went back to the States, but he couldn't get in. So he had to wait for all his paperwork to go through, and then COVID hit. And then he was stuck in Iceland for like 2 years.
That'd be rough.
And working through COVID. And but he was full of stories, and like the mythical was very much a part of his whole, and he was often referring to Icelandic words for things because they were so deeply rooted in mythology.
Well, and they're all very descriptive, right? Like it was like, that mountain is like the gray mountain that has a black rock at the bottom. That's the name of it. It's like,
right.
It's just descriptive. It just is what it is. I also found that really refreshing too.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So.
Well, now you got me animated to want to go.
Yeah, no, it was great. That was one of my best vacations I've ever been on. I really enjoyed it. So very grateful that I was able to go to Iceland and meet people there and just have a great visit and see wonderful things I can't see anywhere else,
Right,
so,
right.
Great. Now, however, so I know everyone came for Lives of the Saints, and we've been talking. We kind of like to talk at the beginning to filter out the week, and then also to give chance for people to show up and get here and finish their dinner, etc. But normally we do Lives of the Saints, but I pulled out the Synaxarion. This is one of the references I go to for Lives of the Saints, and I was looking at saints, and there are some really great ones this week. However, I ran into it's called the Synaxis of the Nativity of. Well, let me get the exact name. I don't want to misquote it. 1 second. So this is a surprise for Shari too. I kind of concealed this. But so it's on the 25th day of the month, we keep the Feast of Nativity according to the flesh of our Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ. And it's basically the Synaxis of the Nativity of Christ. So this is a collection of a lot of the details that aren't in the scriptures. Not all of these details that you'll hear are in the scriptures, but they are preserved in the tradition of the church.
Oh, cool.
And so some of them come from just preserved traditions through the Synaxarion. Others come from the Protoevangelion or the Protoevangelion of James. So you can also find that, like if you search for the Gospel of James online, there are some aspects of it there are small aspects of it that are Gnostic, and that's why it's not included in the scriptures. But most of it is revered as tradition and true, and is included in the hymnography of the church and the prayers of the church. And that's where a lot of the details that I'm going to share tonight will come from, is actually from the Gospel of James. But what I thought I would do is just share this article, like this essay. It's a collection of a recounting of the Nativity of Christ, because it's really beautiful, and that's
amazing. What a good choice.
So it's going to be a little longer. So if you have something else to do, go do that instead, or listen to this in the background. It will be a little longer maybe than some of our other shows, but it's probably not. Once, considering we usually do 2 or 3 lives, this will probably be about the same length of that. But let me pull it up, and I can actually share it on the screen. It's not just in a book. I actually had the time to go and let's see. I'll just do this. We'll do the whole screen, and that, and that, and that. Okay. But before we do that, I would like to do the prayer.
Yeah.
O Lord Jesus Christ, open the eyes of my heart, that I may hear your word and understand and do your will. For I am a sojourner upon the earth. Hide not your commandments from me, but open my eyes, that I may perceive the wonders of your law. Speak unto me the hidden and secret things of your wisdom. On you do I set my hope, O my God, that you shall enlighten my mind and understanding with the light of your knowledge, not only to cherish those things which are written, but to do them. For you are the enlightenment of those who lie in darkness, and from you comes every good deed and every gift. Amen. Okay, so with that, I don't even need the glasses. It's all bright and shiny on my face.
That's on the beautiful. 20. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the icon.
It is nice. Let me rotate it so you can see it.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Let's see. I'll rotate it so you can see it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That's a very nice one.
Interesting.
So you'll hear some of these elements. This is the angel appearing to the shepherd. This is Joseph contemplating what just happened. This is the midwife. And this is Theotokos. This is Christ. This is also Christ. This is the midwife bathing him. This is the ox and the ass that were there with him when he was born. These are the angels. So a lot of the basic elements are here. You can see a little shadow figure there with the goats. That's it's kind of fun.
Oh yeah. Very cool.
So
okay. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, that sounds great. I will I'll just read through this, and if you want to break in, just hop in. That's fine. If you had something you want to talk about, or if something jumps out at you while we're going. On the 25th of the month, we keep the feast of the Nativity according to the flesh of our Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ. Caesar Augustus, the first Roman emperor, having made all the peoples of the known world subject to his sole authority, decided in the height of his power to take a census of the vast population of the empire, and he thereby became the unwitting instrument of the realization of God's plan. For in bringing together and establishing peace and harmony among the many peoples of the immense empire, with their diverse customs and languages, he prepared them for the revelation of the one God in three persons, and thus opened the way for the universal proclamation of the gospel, in accordance with the divine promise, I shall give thee the nations for thine inheritance. Thus, this first census prophetically foretold the enrollment of the elect in the book of life. By the way, there are scriptural references in here. A lot of times they're quoting scriptures, but I'm not going to share all those quotes because it gets kind of overwhelming and tedious to listen to that. So if you'd like to, you can see these references on screen. You can go back and look up these scriptures. The imperial decree reached Palestine when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and occasioned the fulfillment of the prophecy that the Messiah should be born of the lineage of Judah at Bethlehem, the native city of King David. For Joseph, who was then with Mary at Nazareth in Galilee, had to be enrolled at Bethlehem, the town of his forefathers, even though the pregnancy was well advanced of her whom all took to be his wife. On their arrival, they found the place. I'll see if I can share that. I can keep that icon in there. On their arrival, they found the place crowded with people from all over the country, who, like themselves, had come for the census. Unable to find lodging at the inn, they had to shelter for the night outside the town in a cave that was used as a cattle shed. Since Mary felt that the time had come for her to be delivered of her child, Joseph settled her as best as he could in the straw, close by the ox and ass which they found there, and he went out in haste to look for a midwife. On his way, he noticed that the whole of nature had suddenly become utterly still, as though seized with astonishment. The birds hung motionless in mid-air. Men and beasts stopped in their tracks, and the waters ceased flowing. The continuous improvement that leads everything from birth to death and imprisons it in vanity was suspended. For at that moment, the eternal entered within the heart of time. The pre-eternal God became a newborn child. Time and history now took on a new dimension. The universal hush did not last, and everything appeared to resume its normal course. Joseph found a midwife who was coming down the mountain. He told her on the way to the cave of her who was about to give birth. But on reaching the cave, they were prevented from entering by a thick cloud which covered it like that on Mount Sinai when God revealed himself to Moses. The woman fell to the ground and cried out, "My soul has been magnified this day, for my eyes have seen a wonder. A Savior has been born in Israel." The cloud lifted and gave place to a dazzling light, which, decreasing little by little, allowed them entrance at last. They were in excess of mind to behold the all-holy Lady sitting beside the manger where she had placed the child, which she had wrapped in swaddling clothes. Joseph already knew from the angel that the Blessed Virgin had conceived the Savior by the operation of the Holy Spirit, and as he contemplated the little child lying in the straw, he silently adored the Messiah, awaited and foretold by his fathers for so many generations. Indeed, what could be more amazing than this sight, and how could words express it? The Almighty God and Creator of all things became a lowly, weak creature, a little homeless sojourner, yet without ceasing to be divine and uncircumscribed. The Word of God took upon himself the heaviness of flesh, and clothing himself in our humanity, made of it a royal robe. He who is seated in impassibility upon his heavenly throne, attended by myriads of the heavenly host who glorify him without cease, accepted to be contained in an obscure, narrow cave, rejected and despised by all. He who is of divine nature humbled himself, emptied himself, taking the form of a servant and being born in the likeness of men. He who cannot be touched accepted to be wrapped in swaddling bands in order to release us from our sins and to cover with divine glory those who were disgraced. God's only Son, he who is in the bosom of the Father from all eternity, became Son of Man and Son of the Virgin without ceasing to be God, in order to become the firstborn among many brethren. So granting to men the dignity of adoptive sons of God. He is laid in a crib and gazed upon by the ox and the ass, whereby the prophecies are fulfilled. In the midst of two animals thou shalt be known. And the ox knows his creator, and the ass his master's crib. He who gives food to all flesh by his providence laid in the manger of these animals without reason, which symbolize the Jews and the Gentiles, in order to heal mankind of its madness and to reconcile those whom hatred had kept apart, by offering himself for the sustenance of all as the true bread of life. Moreover, in this scene, say the Holy Fathers, an image of the church is presented to our contemplation. The crib represents the chalice containing him who became flesh on this day and gives himself as food for the life of the world. The Virgin is at once his throne and the altar of sacrifice. The cave, a temple. The angels, Joseph, and the shepherds serve as deacons and acolytes, and the Lord himself ministers as high priest in this divine liturgy. A countrywoman named Salome, who chanced to pass that way, learned from the midwife of the wonder that had taken place, but she did not show the same faith. She thought it past belief that a virgin should give birth, and not only that, but remain a virgin after bringing forth her child. With an incredulity rather like that of the Apostle Thomas, she dared to extend a shameless hand to the body of the All-Holy Lady. Her hand was immediately struck as if with palsy, and she cried out, "Woe is me for my impiety and unbelief! I have provoked the living God. Look, my hand has been shriveled up as though by fire and is dropping off." Falling to her knees, she implored the Lord to take pity on her, at which an angel appeared and allowed her to take the divine infant in her arms. With sincere faith, full of the fear of God, she exclaimed, "I bow down before him, for a great king has been born in Israel." She was healed immediately, but the angel counseled her to keep all these wonders to herself until the Lord should make himself known in Israel. The marvel accomplished today in the humble cave at Bethlehem is the fulfillment of all the revelations granted to the prophets of Israel and the outcome of a patient preparation of mankind through all the centuries since David, Abraham, Noah, and Adam. Today, in these last times, God sends us his only Son, by whom he made all the ages, thus revealing to the world the great mystery of our salvation, which had been wrapped in silence and kept hidden in God, in the inexpressible counsel of the three persons of the Holy Trinity, since before the creation of the world. To see this day dawn, the sun, the expanse of heaven, the earth, and all living things have been created, that the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, is a mystery beyond the grasp of human understanding and unfathomable even to the intellect of the angels. He who is God by nature takes our humanity upon himself and makes it his own in the womb of the Virgin, clothing himself in it as a garment, in order that we may partake in his divinity. He is God and man, one only person, Jesus Christ, known in two natures, which are united in him without mixture, without division, and without separation. Today, God becomes man in the cave at Bethlehem in order that man may become God. God's aim and purpose in bringing forth all things out of nothing and leading them into existence has been that the second person of the Holy Trinity should come down even to us, should take upon himself our humanity, grown old and deformed by sin, in order to heal our wounds by his sufferings, to cleanse his image defiled in us, to renew us in himself, to rescue us from the abyss of death into which we have fallen, and bring us up to the heights of heaven, above all the celestial powers, even so far as to enthrone us together with him in God. Jesus Christ, the Savior, Emmanuel, God with us, is born today as a tender babe upon whom the angels gaze with awe. The true light that enlightens every man coming into the world has shone in the darkness of a poor stable, and the time of death and corruption is nearing its end. Solomon no longer has cause to exclaim that there is nothing new under the sun. For this small child is the second Adam, who has brought a new creation, a new man, into being. Henceforth, by following Christ, by obeying his commandments, and by suffering with him, in order to arise through him, mankind is called to find immortality. The Word has become flesh. He has taken our sickness upon himself and has had compassion on our weakness, though having no share in our offense. He has assumed body and soul, and as a small child, he has submitted to the conditions of our fallen world: growth, hunger, thirst, sleep, want of knowledge, without, however, committing sin. He alone is without sin, and he has come to dwell in the flesh, which is subject to sin and to death, in order that the flesh may become word. He has taken upon himself a body destined for the tomb, and has covered it with glory and light by making it the sharer of his immortality. For as the whole fullness of the Godhead dwells bodily in him, so those who follow him by faith will share in this fullness in their whole being, in their spirit, in their soul, and in their body. Today, in keeping the feast of the incarnation of the Word, the descent of God among men, we confess the accomplishment of the whole mystery of our redemption. Christ is born, and man thereby becomes heir to his glory. Certainly, a little child in a crib is all that meets our eye, but taught by the Holy Fathers, we see the signs of the completion of the mystery of Christ in the humble cave at Bethlehem. Christmas and Easter, the feast of feasts, are together one and the same solemnity. The cave foretells the tomb. The swaddling bands prefigure the winding sheet. Here Christ appears in the world, leaving the virginity of his mother without blemish. There he triumphs over death and comes forth from the tomb without breaking the seals. At Bethlehem, an angel is sent to the shepherds, and at Jerusalem, a radiant angel announces the resurrection to the myrrh-bearing women. Always and everywhere, one and the same Christ, become man like to ourselves, even unto death, in order that the transgression committed by one man, Adam, might be removed from us by one man, the second Adam. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Jesus Christ, who gave himself as a ransom for us all. And today all beings in heaven and on earth bow down before him as Savior and Lord, and rejoice with great joy at being reconciled to God by him in his body, which is Holy Church, the fullness of him who fills all in all. I will go ahead and read these two sections, one for the shepherds and one for the Magi as well. They're equally as beautiful. Not far from the cave where this astonishing wonder took place, some poor shepherds, simple folk commonly held in contempt, were guarding their flock on the edge of the Judean wilderness. They were taking it in turn to keep watch by night, when all at once an angel appeared, and the glory of God covered them with dazzling brightness. They were very frightened, but the angel reassured them, telling them that the babe whom they would see lying in the crib was the Messiah, the good shepherd who had come to gather his scattered flock, and that the Lord of glory had come on earth to look for the lost sheep. Having told them the sign by which they would recognize the child, the angel was joined by a great company of the heavenly host, singing the praises of God and calling upon the ranks of angels and of men to exult, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. In unison with the angels, the whole creation resounds today with a single song of gladness, and in the name of Jesus, all in highest heaven, namely the angels, on earth and under the earth, bow down in adoration, and every tongue proclaims that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. After the departure of the angels, the shepherds set out at once for the stable, taking with them the humble presents which they would offer with all their heart to the Lord. On their way back, they made known to everyone whom they met the wonders which, as forerunners of the apostles, they had just witnessed. Memory of the veneration of the Magi. At that time, 3 Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem with a magnificent escort, asking after the newborn king, whom they had come to venerate. Priests and seers from among the pagan worshippers of the sun and other stars, but nonetheless upright and endowed with wisdom, they investigated the heavenly bodies, not in order to predict the future, but to trace the ways of divine providence, and they studied the secrets of nature in order to come to the knowledge of the truth. Full of these good intentions, they had observed the sudden appearance in the firmament of a star, which, drawing near the earth, shone with so brilliant a light as to be clearly visible even at midday, and which at night outshone every other star. From their knowledge of the sayings of the ancient prophets, the Magi recalled the prophecy about Israel pronounced long before by Balaam, the seer who came from Mesopotamia at the request of Balak, the king of Moab. I see him, but not now. I glorify him, but not nigh. A star shall come forth out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. They deduced that the king who would subdue the nations, the Messiah awaited by Israel, had appeared, and they made ready for the long journey. Being the first fruits of the Gentiles and prefiguring the conversion of the peoples far removed from the revelation to Israel, they set out to bring him their worship in advance of the stony-hearted Jews. And as they went, the star going before showed them the way. Strange though it may seem, this luminary was no inanimate light, but one of the angelic powers of heaven, which took the form of a star to conform to the understanding of the Magi, who were accustomed to study the stars for clues to the attainment of knowledge of God. Unlike the planets that appear to move from east to west, this star, which was brighter than the sun, went before them from Persia in the north, southward to Jerusalem, and then disappeared for a while, before leading them to Bethlehem and stationing itself over the place where the child lay. It showed the way to the Magi, as the pillar of fire had shown the way to the people of Israel in the wilderness. And it came down so close to the ground that the cave where the Savior lay was indicated clearly in its light. These extraordinary happenings, which astrology could not account for, had the effect of driving doubt from the spirit of the Magi and of causing them to lay aside all mistrust, so that even while they were on their way, they gave up the worship of the stars for the adoration of the Son of Righteousness, who has come into the world to shed upon mankind the light of true knowledge of God. When they reached Jerusalem, the star disappeared from their sight, not knowing where to go, but believing that the Jews would be eager to recognize their king from on high. They made their way to the palace of Herod, the king of Judea, a cruel and depraved man who never hesitated to rid himself of anyone who might be a threat to his power. On learning from the Magi why they had come, he immediately gathered the scribes and doctors of the law to find out who the king announced by the prophets might be. The elders assured him that the Messiah, the liberator of Israel, was indeed expected at Bethlehem, the native town of King David. Then, having called the Magi to a private audience, Herod directed them to Bethlehem and asked them to let him know on their return where the newborn king was to be found, so that I too may come and do him homage, as he alleged, while really intending to do him to death. As soon as they left Jerusalem, the star appeared once again to the Magi and led them to the humble cave. Entering therein full of joy and holy fear, as into the palace of the greatest of kings, these rich and noble travelers from afar cast themselves to the ground before the child enthroned in the manger, and opening the treasures of their hearts, they adored him and offered him rare and precious gifts: gold to honor him as king, incense as befitting God, and myrrh, the aromatic oil used in the burial of the dead, for the immortal one who was soon to suffer death for our salvation. Then, warned in a dream of Herod's plan, they returned to their own country by another road, thereby teaching those who have once drawn near to Christ not to return to evil ways. To Christ Jesus, our Lord and Savior, be the glory, now and forever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Oh, that was really great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I found it very moving, and I think that was the first time. I'm sad to admit that's the first time I had read it, even though I've been Orthodox for a bit now. So,
well, those things that are familiar to us often go unnoticed.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, related to that, I had an insight just recently. So I grew up religious, and then there was a long period of time in my life where I was not only not religious, but anti-religious. But then once I became Christian again, I kind of was upset at Christmas and how, in America, we do all the celebrating leading up to Christmas, and traditionally you do it after Christmas, and like everything felt upside down and weird. And, we have Coca-Cola Santa Claus, and we have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman and all these irreverent hymns and everything. And I was upset by it. And then just recently I realized, and honestly, like reading this today really solidified it to me, where it was like, you know what? We're celebrating Christmas exactly the way it happened the first time, where it's hidden and secret and veiled and small and quiet. It's hidden in a cave and hardly anyone knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just perfect.
Yeah.
It's the true humility of Christ comes through when I hear Jingle Bell Rock in the grocery store,
Right.
watching people buy a Christmas ham, right?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Well,
That's how it works.
Yeah, like I dropped a link if anybody wants to jump in and join us. It would be great. We would love it. We would love it. That's I've had that same feeling watching everybody kind of rush around in preparation for this. They're participating in something that is so much greater than them. And it's kind of like what you were saying earlier about the Icelandic keeper of the law guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who said, well, convert, but you can't say anything about the things that people do in their own homes, right?
Yes.
It's actually very wise because you actually can't say anything about what people do in their own homes.
Yeah, and it actually resolved all of the conflicts.
Right.
Everyone was arguing, and that just like resolved it.
Because everybody wants everyone to, lockstep, right? Everyone has to be the same. That's our, that's this idea of what do you call it? Unity.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so wrong.
Totalitarianism.
Yeah. And I mean, the Magi in the story they're like a great example of someone participating in this moment, eternal moment, who isn't Jewish, who's not, definitely not Christian, right?
Right.
From outside, from away.
Right.
And anyway, there's lots of great little Easter eggs.
They could still see something was on, something was peculiar, something was out of, like it said, the star that's moving in all these weird directions.
Well, like I was talking to someone today and they mentioned something about becoming more comfortable with the God of the Old Testament, let's say, something like that. And I said, well, the really Old Testament is the book of nature, right? Which is what the Magi were observing. That was their book. That's what told them what was coming, where it was going to be. So.
Well, it's the Psalm 18 or Psalm 19, depending on which Bible you're reading, right? The heavens declare. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. No, I don't want that. There we go. Psalm 19. This was C.S. Lewis's favorite psalm.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. I'm trying 1 second. Well, I'm coming. It's coming. There we go. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. That's what the Magi found, right? That's what they heard.
Yeah. There is no speech
nor
language. Their voice is not heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. Yeah. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, his circuit to the ends of it. And there is nothing hid. Yeah. I was thinking about all creation groans and waits this week because I lost my dog yesterday. And she died of cancer, which is just the worst to me,
Yeah.
For an animal. I don't know why I think some humans just deserve it. Or at least they can understand it. What I mean? Like they're in some kind of, but yeah, anyway. And like we have a little graveyard for our family pets, and the kids wanted to make a cross for it when they were little. And they wood burned onto the cross, all creation groans and waits, because they said, Mom, we want to write something on the cross. What should we write? And I said, this. And whenever I have a sick animal, I always ask them to forgive me, because all creation is groaning and waiting on me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a really big story out there, folks. It's a book that can be read if you spend enough time in it. Yeah. And that's what the Magi did.
Yeah.
That was the book
that's what St. Roman Braga talked about too, right? God is not in books.
That's right. Definitely not.
They're helpful, but they can also be a distraction.
Yeah. Well,
no,
I mean, do you know, I was trying to think of it the other day, the altar in the Orthodox Church, the legs of the altar, do you know what they're made of?
Is it the same everywhere? I don't.
Oh, I read this.
Ours is just like a big cube.
No. They're legs, as far as I know, or should be. Well, I know that the altar is the four directions as well, the four corners, right?
Which are also the four animals.
Yeah.
From the throne, right?
Yeah, which are also the animals that represent the Gospels. The ox, the lion, the eagle, and what's the other one? Man.
Yeah.
Right.
And those are the four constellations that in the zodiac that correspond with the cardinal.
Right. Yeah. And then because I was talking about this on the Discord the other day. We had a little Christmas party on the voice chat on Grail Country. And
I was sad I missed it.
And I said, the dome, if you look up in the church, if you look up at the dome, it's stars. Incense is made of tree resin. Okay. And the candles are what?
Beeswax. They're none of your beeswax.
So what are you standing?
Did you say that in Canada? I'm sorry. What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, we did say that. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, go ahead.
But, so the question is, what is it that you're standing in?
The world.
Nature.
Yeah.
The cosmos. That's what you're standing in.
Right.
The created world.
Right. And in a lot of churches, the Pantocrator is in the top too of Christ, right? He's in the dome as well. So he's bending heaven down.
Yes.
He's condescending.
That's that, and I always get the sense that's I mean, of course there's the whole heaven and earth thing, but it's like, how do I say this? Nothing makes any sense without him fulfilling the whole story.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a covering, right? Because it's a dome.
Yeah. Right.
So it covers, like the ancient idea of, the world being flat and covered with a dome and all the rest of it, right? Anyway, I was going to say something now. Oh, the four directions, also the four winds. Yeah.
Right. And the four rivers coming out of paradise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're standing in well, and the divine liturgy is out of the book of Revelation, which is heaven.
Right.
So if you think about it, where's heaven?
You're stepping into heaven in divine liturgy.
But it's also on earth.
Right. Yeah.
As it is in heaven. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've stepped out of time there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like we talked about last week with Tracy. It's it's eternal when it presences itself to you and you're present to it.
Yes.
Right? You have to attend, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we stand.
Right.
At attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it's very beautiful. And I remember being a part of a, Protestant church and asking people, who were the Magi? And they never liked talking about them. Because they don't fit the narrative.
Right.
How can they know anything? How can they know something? How can they be the first to worship? Right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
The other thing that kind of stood out to me with the shepherds and the Magi was that they were bringing gifts from their heart for the king. I was very moved by that.
And they kind of represent like the lowest and the highest in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the Magi were noblemen.
Right.
With wealth. And the shepherds were the lowest of the low. And when the angels announced to the shepherds that Christ was born, his name was Emmanuel. He's never called that again.
Mm-hmm.
It's only there.
Yeah.
Which is God with us, right? Yeah. I had for a long time, and unto you is born this day in the city of David a child. Just kept running through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I knew the rest of it, but it was just sitting there, at that, a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I'm glad I get, we went on vacation. It was really nice, but I'm glad I get a couple of days to kind of spiritually prepare for the birth of Christ. And, I pray that he can make a cave in my heart and and that he'll be born there. I pray I can bring a gift that from my heart that would be appropriate for that day.
There's a beautiful sermon written by Meister Eckhart. It's known as his Christmas sermon, about Christ being born in your heart, like, being born in you, actually.
Right.
And the virginal space in which Christ is always born of a virgin, is only born of a virgin, right?
Right.
It's really worth reading if anybody is interested, and it's easy to find. You could just go Meister Eckhart Christmas sermon. It's really beautiful. Yeah. And I talked about it with Jed on Girl Country a long while ago. It's on there somewhere. But it's a deep dive.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's a deep dive. There's if you go Works of Meister Eckhart, Yale, there's a link to all of his sermons, all of his stuff. And the first sermon in that, it's a massive book, but it's a PDF and it's easy. You can it's all there.
Yeah.
You could link it in the chat, maybe.
I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big chat. There's a big link.
There it is. Yeah. And the first sermon in there is the Christmas sermon.
Handy.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, I have a question.
Okay.
A personal question. What is one of your favorite family traditions at Christmas? Of your family? Like
Yeah.
you're
I love. So my kids are older. Oh man, I'm just. I have to try not to choke up here. So we were in the store today, and I saw the navel oranges, and I said we need to get some of those and do stockings. And so we did. We got navel oranges for me and my wife and my daughter, and some stuff to put in the stockings. And the reason it's so special to me, I love the navel orange in the stocking because one, the symbolism of the sun in the cave, right? And two, my great grandmother said they would get one orange. No, it wasn't my great grandmother. I'm sorry. It was my grandfather's sister. So my
great aunt
was. I interviewed her, and she said that when they were little, they were really poor, but they got one orange for the family, and there were 6 kids. And so my great grandmother would peel the orange, and they would all smell it, and they would just smell the orange peel, and then she would take the orange apart and give each of them a slice. And she just said how special it was that once a year she got to taste an orange. And she said she would just eat just a little piece of it, and she would just chew on it, and then she would put it on her dress, and she had to hide it, and she would hide it in different places so that she could enjoy it. And so she would, over the space of the day, eat that one slice of orange. And it was so special to her because they were poor, but there was somebody in the town who would travel. It was a few hours to the big city, They would travel to the big city and buy a box of oranges and bring it back to town, and all the parents would go and get an orange, and it was just I come from a long line of poor sheep herders.
Yeah.
And so I found that a very moving story, and it always reminds me of my ancestors, my upbringing, and the people who came before me, and I try to be grateful for the life I lead because it's pretty cushy in comparison.
Yeah.
I can afford to go buy an orange anytime I want, and they're at the store.
Well, we all can.
They're at the store every day. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
and long ago. This was 100 years ago.
No, I know. Like
not even that, like 80 years ago.
Yeah.
70 years ago. So
this is like what we talked about the last time we got together when Tracy was on, before you went on your holiday. Really drawing from the strength of your ancestors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Party shepherd stock.
Yeah. And it makes for some dark stories, like in Iceland. Also shepherd stock.
Yeah, you have to survive. You have to be able to face the darkness, right? Especially living in Iceland, where it's dark for most.
My mother-in-law used to pop over when I was living in Switzerland. She lived in a village over the hill. There was one village between us and her village. And every now and then she'd show up, and she'd always bring bananas for the kids, but they were always rotten. Like they were just like brown spotted.
Yeah.
Right. And the kids would be like, she'd hand them these bananas, and I used to just give them the evil eye, right? You say thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
So they'd be like, thank you, Grossmutti, and then they put them in the fruit bowl or fruit basket, and And they'd be like, I don't want to eat. Why does she always bring us brown bananas? And I was like, I don't know, but she made the trip all the way over here with those and gave them to you. So you be grateful, you know?
Yeah.
Then I found out years later that when she was a little girl, she lived in a very small village in Tokaborg, which is kind of like foothilly. You know, it's got these really round, steep hills, and there's like villages on top. Like it's like Hobbitville.
Wow.
It's literally, the people in Tokaborg were really small.
Yeah.
Like Oppitzal, Tokaborg, that area, they were very inbred.
Oh.
And their houses are like, they'll have these 5-story houses, but they're the same size as like a 3-story house. Because they were so small, you know, literally. Yeah. And anyway, she grew up in a little village like that. Her father was a sana, so he worked as a hand on a farm. So he didn't even have a farm. Okay.
Right.
And some man in the village came back from, you know, traveling in the world, and he brought bananas for the kids. Well, they made a long journey back to Tokaborg, these bananas. So you can imagine the shape they were in when they got there.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he gave the kids bananas. I don't know if every kid in the village got a whole banana, but she got a banana, and it was brown. And I'm like, that's why she brings the kids bananas.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, the moment where her whole world changed.
Yes.
She'd never seen a banana in her life.
Right.
Let alone tasted one.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, sure, she knew what a ripe banana was, you know.
Right.
But to her, it was
the journey.
She was trying to pass on that encounter with this thing.
Yeah.
That she had, you know, as a child, that filled her with wonder. She was giving that. That was the gift she brought with the banana to my children.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And all they saw was a rotten banana.
Right. They didn't have the context. Yeah.
And I never let them say anything about it. My sister-in-law, on the other hand, one of my sisters-in-law, she flat out refused my mother-in-law. I'm not taking that rotten banana. Why do you bring rotten bananas? You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right, there's the loss of hospitality, right? Like, hospitality is a two-way street. You've got to be a good host and you've got to be a good guest.
Well, there's a lot of resentment there somehow, for some reason. I don't know why. Like, it just ekes out. Like, it just, it smells like resentment, you know, that statement to me.
Well, some people resent their ancestors. I don't understand that.
I don't think my mother-in-law would take a trip from her village to my village with a bicycle to insult my children with rotten bananas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I always had the sense there was more to the story, but I never knew it until years later. And then I was like, oh, this is so beautiful.
Well, it's similar to me. Like, you know, we got oranges in my stocking when I was a kid. Well, I didn't know the story behind it until my great aunt. So what happened was my grandfather passed away, and at his funeral, I interviewed just anyone in the family who wanted to talk about my grandfather.
Right.
And that was one of the stories that came up. Was my great aunt just told that story about, you know, they would get this Christmas orange and it was so special, but they had to share it across the whole family. So it was, you know, it was like it increased the specialness of the orange, and it just gave me a whole different perspective on the story. And then, you know. So of course I've kept the tradition, you know, and this year it was about to slip, and thank God I saw that orange in the grocery store. I'm like, what was I doing? I can't let that go.
Yeah.
You have to keep the orange alive, right?
You only give one orange to the whole family.
Yeah. We didn't carry that on because, you know, my sister and I both got an orange. So
I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but yeah. No, I know. It's Yes, our ancestors grew up in much different times, you know.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor in Switzerland. She was 75, 80 when I moved to the neighborhood. And so in this direction was my mother-in-law, and up over the hill behind us, there was a village called Utwil, and behind Utwil was another village called Ek, which means, it's spelled egg, but it means corner. Ek. And frustratingly, this lady that lived out my kitchen window, right there, she was from Ek, and she never saw the Lake of Zurich until she got married and moved to the village where, like, to that house that she lived in still. Okay. I mean, it was like to drive from my house to Ek. I used to go to a hardware store in Ek. It was like 11 minutes to drive.
Yeah.
But as a young woman, you didn't leave the farm.
Right.
Where are you going to go? How are you going to get there? Why would you go? You know?
You just can go get in trouble anyway. So
yeah.
And there's stores
it was astounding to me. She told me that, and I was just like, "You're kidding." She said, "Yeah." And she came over the hill, and there was the lake. You know, she'd never seen it
there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's very, and that was very common for most of human history. You never, I mean, I think during the Roman times there was a lot of travel, a lot more back then. But like for the most part,
unless you were a Viking, Jeremy.
What's that?
Unless you were a Viking, those people were everywhere. It's insane where they were.
Yeah.
I just found out that the Rus were actually Scandinavian. So remember you were saying about the Ukrainian tradition?
Yes.
Okay. So that's because they were Scandinavian.
Yeah.
And they had that Yule, that they celebrated, which was like a fest, a feast of the dead or whatever. Which makes sense at solstice because it's the darkest time of the year and their mythologies are dark. Right. And so, and it was an ancestor thing. So the ancestors came and slept in their beds, and they slept on straw on the floor. And then when you told me that the Ukrainians put straw under the tablecloth, how did you put that? For their ancestors?
Yeah, for their ancestors to sleep. They would come, because the ancestors would come on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And so, they would put straw under the table. They would put straw on the table and then tablecloth over that, and then their plates where they were going to sit for the Christmas meal the next day. And the ancestors would come on Christmas Eve and sleep on the straw so that they could be with the family for a Christmas meal.
Yeah. So that's where that came from. It came from the Vikings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's how it came to England too. The Yule log came to England from the Saxons. I was reading about that.
Right. Okay.
I do a trivia game for my family every year, and so I do a lot of deep digging around Christmas.
Oh, cool!
It's really fun.
Yeah, that is.
Well, you know what was crazy? I was going to share this with you. So I was in a hurry, and I will confess, it said, "Hey, do you want AI to give it a shot making a trivia game?" I was like, "Okay, let's see what it does." So it generates the questions and answers. There was like 3 or 4, like I had to fact check AI. Okay. So all you smarty pants people who think you need to ask AI, ask Grok is this true? Is this image real? I'm telling you, I had to fact check AI because it kept saying that things are pagan traditions that were not pagan traditions. Okay. Mistletoe, kissing under the mistletoe, that's not pagan. Maybe Yule log maybe had some pagan origins, but it was definitely converted over. Okay, I'll give you a Yule, right? But there was like 3 or 4 other ones where it was just like, no, it was not pagan, and I can't remember. I would have to look. I have them. I'd have to look, but it was just like, it was clear somebody is messing with it. because I went to it, and here's how I know it was deliberate. Like somebody's messing with it, deliberately trying to say that Christmas things and Christian things have their roots in paganism, which is Roman propaganda from the 2nd century. Thank you very much. So anyway, I went to like very prominent reference websites such as Wikipedia, which is anything but neutral, right? And Encyclopedia Britannica, which is generally more neutral, definitely, than Wikipedia. But even Wikipedia, you'd go there and it's clearly like, no, this started with the Christians. This started in England. Oh, this is what it was. Wassail. And okay, so wassail and caroling, they said, has a pagan origin. That is complete nonsense. No, it does not. It comes from Twelfth Night. So the 12th night of Christmas is January 5th evening, which is the day before Epiphany, right? Epiphany or Theophany, which is celebrating the baptism of Christ on January 6th. Well, on January 5th is 12th night, and that was the end of the party, okay? Because the next day is the fast starts again.
Right.
So you have 12 days of not fasting, feasting, and drinking. So they would make wassail, which is apple cider with, rum or brandy. Oh, I mean, they didn't have rum, but maybe on the time.
Liquor.
Anyway,
just
brandy.
Liquor.
Yeah, whatever. They had liquor. They would heat it up. They would put apples and the cloves and the oranges and, like whatever they had to make wassail. It's like the mulled cider, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was heated up. They had barrels of it, and they would keep it hot, and they would travel. They would go door to door singing and sharing wassail. No pagan. Get out of here with the pagan crap. Now, they would also go out and sing in the apple orchard because they're drinking apple. They would sing to the trees, praying for a good harvest. No pagan.
Well,
but according to AI, wassail comes from pagans and the Christians just, boy. They said that Christmas caroling came from pagans. I'm like, get out of here. Are you, what? It makes no sense. Nonsense. Then that's why, like I said, it was clearly somebody has fiddled with it to get it to say these things. Because if you go to main reference websites, no, it says clearly, no, this was Christian.
Yeah.
It was gross.
You could say that the Three Wise Men was started by some pagans.
Okay, there you go. Right. There's actually a tradition in Poland where they write the initials of the Three Wise Men. It's K plus M plus B equals, and then they would have the year, and they would do it on Epiphany. They would write K plus M plus B.
Yeah, because
in chalk.
In Switzerland, the 6th of January is the end of Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's called Three Kings Day.
That's it. That's when they would save in Poland.
And what they do is they make a little krantz, like a wreath bread with little buns stuck together, and in one of them is a king. And there's a crown, like a paper crown comes with it. And so for dinner, everybody gets a piece of bread, and whoever gets the king gets to wear the crown. That's the tradition.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Nice.
Three Kings Day. And it's always celebrated as the end of Christmas in Switzerland.
Right. Yeah. The same in Poland. Like I said, they have that, because when I was a missionary, you could tell you were about to knock on a Polish door because they would have that K plus M plus B equals 1996 on the door.
But I just want to read you something really quick here from another saint. And I'll tell you his name when it comes up because I always forget it. Saint Nikolai Velimirovich.
Yeah.
And he says here, let me see.
Well, while you pull that up, I was going to share that there is another tradition on New Year's Day we have a liturgy. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. There's a liturgy, and after the liturgy, we somebody makes vassalopedi bread, and they hide a coin in there, and then the person who, one of the kids get the coin, and
yeah,
you can have a good year, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So related to the Three Kings story you were saying.
Yeah. Well, the idea of something being something pagan being Christianized, it's kind of like the idea of, to me anyways, it's what do you call that now? I can't think of the name. Types of Christ in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how I would put it in my words. I would say the story is always being told.
Right.
Okay? And so human beings are looking at the book of nature, like the wise men, right? And they're mapping out this story that's being told. And where does the story lead them? To Christ. Okay? So, I'm not saying anyone should practice pagan ritual, although you could say the Ukrainians are, when they put straw.
We have a Christmas tree in our parish.
Right. Okay. So then you have to ask the question, well, what's pagan, what's Christian, if that story is leading you to Christ, right? So I just want to read you a little portion of St. Nikolai Velimirovich. I've read this many times. He talks about, he says this, I'll just read the first sentence. All the prophets have from the beginning cried out to my soul, imploring her to make herself, this is what you were saying you wanted to think about over the holidays, imploring her to make herself a virgin and prepare herself to receive the divine Son into her immaculate womb, imploring her to become a ladder down which God will descend into the world and up which man will ascend to God, imploring her to drain the Red Sea of sanguinary passion within herself, so that man, the slave, can cross over to the promised land, the land of freedom. Then he goes into the wise man of China, the wise man of India, and he talks about Krishna and Lao Tzu and all these people, okay? I won't read all that. And then he says, O heavenly Lord, open the hearing of my soul, lest she become deaf to the counsels of your messengers. Think about the Magi here, okay? Do not slay the prophets sent to you, my soul, for their graves contain not them, but those who slew them. Wash and cleanse yourself, become tranquil amid the turbulent sea of the world, and keep within yourself the counsels of the prophets sent to you. Surrender yourself entirely to the one on high, and say to the world, I have nothing for you. Even the most righteous of the sons of men who believe in you are merely feeble shadows. Anyway, I'll just read down a bit. Do not slay the prophets sent to you, my soul, for killing is only an illusion of shadows. Do not kill, for you can slay no one but yourself. Be a virgin, my soul, for virginity of the soul is the only semi-reality in a world of shadows. A semi-reality until God is born within her. Then the soul becomes a full reality. And this last bit, and this is the Magi. Be wise, my virgin, and cordially receive the precious gifts of the wise men from the East. And he's also referring back to his Krishna and Lao Tzu and,
right.
Intended for your son. Okay?
Yeah.
Do not glance back toward the west. And he's talking about where the sun sets.
Right.
Not Western, civilization. Where the sun sets. And do not crave gifts that are figmental and false. So, when you read something like this, from a man who is a bishop, I might add, you have to you have to rethink paganism, really.
Yeah.
Like, I would really encourage people to think about this, because, and I'm not saying we should all run out and be pagans. No. But if
You okay? Oh, she's coughing. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, no.
We have a little thing going around.
Oh, yeah.
My husband's coughing upstairs, and I was hoping I wouldn't have to deal with it. But
well, I'll share a picture of a little pretty church while you recover.
Excuse me.
There's a little church down by a lake, and this is right on. This lake is actually between the two continental plates, the two tectonic plates, the North American plate and the Eurasian plate, basically split Iceland in half, which is why Iceland has a lot of volcanoes.
Oh, this is in Iceland.
Yeah, this is in Iceland. Yep. So here's a little church next to the lake in Iceland. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful place.
Yeah, that's from Prayers by the Lake by Saint Nikolai.
I
read. If you know that book, Prayers by the Lake.
Yes.
I thought you might know that because that's why you're showing the picture.
No, I didn't know that.
That's just serendipity.
Providential. Cool. Yeah, I was just kind of showing. I was just trying to entertain the audience while you were recovering from your.
While I was choking to death.
While you were dying. While we were watching you dying, I thought we could at least look at some cool pictures of
Anyway, I don't know if I'm getting my point across. Maybe I'm confusing people more than anything.
No, I think the point is
maybe you could reframe it.
The reason why Plato and Aristotle's statues were in the narthex of the churches in Constantinople, right? Saint Basil the Great said that. He was like, great literature can lead you to see truth, goodness, and beauty, and
they're like the forerunners in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly. He said it trains your nous to be able to recognize beauty and goodness and truth by reading. He was specifically talking about the Iliad and the Odyssey, but also Father Seraphim Rose said something very similar, where he would have, especially like Americans who were getting interested in orthodoxy, like inquirers, he would have them read usually David Copperfield by Dickens, to try to teach them like the essence of Christianity, before we're going to talk about and that's why we're supposed to start by studying the lives of the saints as well. Before you go read St. Maximus, you should read quite a few lives of the saints. You're just going to be swimming, you'll be lost.
You know what? I just realized I wrote something the other day. It's kind of related. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
It's a little poem that I wrote. I called it I Found Myself, and hang on. I found myself asking you for permission. I was astounded at my words. They flowed as if unbidden from some deep well of knowledge that I was unaware of. I begged your forgiveness for lopping off your limb. I would expect the same if someone lopped off my limb. I thanked you. I remember the days when I never thought twice about such things. The days I cut down whole trees without asking permission, without asking forgiveness, without gratitude. When did the change come? I have no memory of it. I do not see the difference in time between then and now. Yet everything is different. Everything matters. I became without my knowledge. I was transformed in the twinkling of an eye. I am someone I never consented to be. I was dragged through the infidelity of an ungrateful life to this moment when I unwittingly encountered myself doing something I never knew how to do. I never knew why I should do it. I walk beside myself. I don't know my own companion, my companion who shows wisdom, who shows me who I really am. I am amazed. I am confused and amazed. I stand in awe and you flow through, as if a portal was opened and you stepped through, and I can't remember where I was when it happened or what I was doing. I never opened it. You did. I am humbled. I am grateful. I am not even myself. I have become, without my knowledge, without my consent, you have transformed me. The reason I felt that it was related was because there's an aspect, what some people might call pagan, okay, where you ask the tree for permission and forgiveness, and you give thanks to the tree. Oh my God, she's worshiping a tree. Or are you seeing the world as alive? Right. As, that you're not, you're in it. Right. You're all together in
you're
it.
in an orchestra. Yeah. I see men as trees walking, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And literally, Jeremy, I was cutting branches off trees. I took the snowmobile and I went back there and I was cutting, I cut juniper, I cut pine, I cut spruce, and I found myself asking permission. Like I couldn't just go, like I normally did.
Right.
I walked up to and I was like, "Oh, you're perfect. Is it okay?" And after I cut it, thank you so much. Yeah. I didn't take more than I needed. Right. I would take just a couple and then look for a different tree. And I shocked my own self. It was weird. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Had I done it before, it would have been LARPing, as people in the
Right. Yeah.
This was not LARPing.
Living the last of the Mohicans.
This was not LARPing. This was actually, I was like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was I wrote it down. That's the only way I can say it.
Yeah, it just came out of you and it was natural. And it felt right.
It shocked me. It astounded. I wrote in here, I was astounded at my words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin Shaw said to me when I had that conversation with him, somebody asked C.S. Lewis once, do you think are you worried that Christianity might become pagan? And he said, "Oh, bright joy."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His last book, The Discarded Image, is really good. It really
I have never read it, and I really want to.
Yeah, I really liked it because it opens you up to that medieval worldview. And I mean, it's a Christian worldview. It's a medieval Christian worldview, but kind of not. It's kind of just like the classical context of the Christian worldview, basically.
Well,
the Discarded Image. It's really great, but it is the sacramental worldview, like you're talking about, where everything is participating. Let everything that hath breath praise the Lord. Right?
Yeah,
it's that.
Yeah, and I mean, if
plants breathe, by the way, so don't think that doesn't include plants, you jerks. No, I'm not talking about you.
If they weren't breathing, we wouldn't be either.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, it's something I find myself thinking a lot about, these things, and it's that life of gratitude that I tend towards.
Yeah.
because I find myself encountering everything as a person when I do that.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
What is a Christmas tradition that in your family that it means a lot to you?
It's a big deal here. I'm like, I love Christmas. Christmas is like, I'm just one of those people who loves Christmas.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I just love Christmas.
Yeah. I never lost my love of Christmas, even when in my darkest wanderings.
Yeah. So Christmas tradition. Well, one of the things we do, Christmas morning, I make a big like breakfast table. And one of the main traditions at our breakfast table is cinnamon buns. I make cinnamon buns and I bake them Christmas. So they sit in the oven. They're frozen Christmas Eve, put them in the oven. They rise all night. And then I turn the oven on and the whole house is filled up with fresh cinnamon bun smell.
Nice. Yeah.
But then there's lots of other food on the table and it's buffet. So we are the slowest Christmas morning people you've ever met. First, everybody gets up and does their chores.
Yeah.
I have to go feed the sheep, all that, feed the horses.
Right. Animals don't know it's Christmas. Yeah, I've heard these stories. I'm not these stories. I've heard these lines.
And then, actually, most of my family would do my chores for me that morning because I was getting Christmas breakfast on the table, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody would go to the table and fill up their plates and then go to the tree. And then we'd all grab our stockings, but everybody would eat and enjoy the food. And then we'd say, okay, let's open stockings. And there was never any free-for-all. Never.
Right.
It's like, okay, what did you get, Nat? What did you get, Amelia? What did you get, Uli?
Yeah.
And then we have the tradition after the stockings are open, everyone's, thanking everybody. Always, everybody gets up, walks across the room, thank you, and then and then someone starts the gift giving, and whoever gets the gift, we all watch them open it. And then they have to go pick a gift for someone else.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
That's good.
And so we usually finish Christmas morning around 3:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, sounds great.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Sounds great.
That's our family tradition.
Yeah. We've had to be more kind of adaptive, I guess, because of having stepkids and not stepkids, and stepkids with other, at the other house and stuff like that. So we were a little more fluid, not always holding to Christmas Day. Sometimes, like we just had a gift exchange. The family gift exchange was before our vacation,
Yeah.
Christmas morning, my wife and I and my brother and my daughter will open some presents, and then, but then we're not doing a Christmas meal on Christmas Day because, our kids have their in-laws and their parents and all that stuff. So, so we're actually doing a party on the 4th of January because that's between my stepdaughter and my daughter's birthdays. So, like we've been, I used to be really like everything has to be exactly at the right way, but you can't be like that as a parent, not when you have a mixed household, so
Gotta be flexible.
But like we generally right after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving Day is when the Christmas tree goes up, and the girls do all of it. Like all I do is bring in the boxes, and I bring in the tree box, and I just put it in the floor, and I just walk away, and they the three girls just love it. They put up the tree and they do all the decorations, and my wife is sitting on the chair saying, no, over there. No, not there, over there. Oh, a little more up. No, not, and it's just a joy. And and then we do have one little tradition where I pick up my daughter because she's the youngest out of the three, and she's the one who gets to put the star on. So
nice.
She's always, I've always just put her on my shoulders and lift her up, and they like this year they're like, can you? And I'm like, get out of here. Of course I can. She doesn't even weigh as much as my lunchbox. Get out of here. All right. So lift up the star. But we can't do like really strict patterns, but there are certain elements that are always part of the song, right? There's always certain lines that are part of the poem, but there's a lot of editing along the way as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it flows for us.
I mean, for us, it's always followed a certain, I mean, sometimes we'd have, like in Switzerland, we often had a lot of people who didn't have family would come to our house for Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And that was always really great.
Yeah.
So in the evening, all kinds of people would show up. A weird tradition started. Oh my gosh, my son, who's 30 something, he was born in 88. So what is he now?
I don't know. 35
anyway,
plus 2, 37.
Yeah, okay. So good Lord. I thought it was 37, but I was afraid to say it. Anyway, he was a baby, and we got our first TV. And it was a friend of mine. I was a wedding singer at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And with a friend from church, actually, and then another guy. We used to do weddings, and I was the vocalist. And he was getting a new TV, and I said, "What are you doing with your old one?" And he always had the latest, greatest technology, right? So he said, "Oh, I don't know. Do you want to buy it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to get one. Get a TV," because we didn't have one. And so I bought this really nice TV off of him for $100.
Oh, nice.
And now I gave it to my husband for Christmas because we were poor, right?
Yeah.
Really young family, little kids, And I bought and he gave me a VCR with it. And so I went to a store and I bought a video of The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. Because my husband loves Charlie Chaplin. Okay. So that was his Christmas present.
Oh, fun.
And of course, we didn't have any other videos. That was it. That was the only one we had. And so after Christmas morning and, everybody was just chilling out, he pops that in and it's just playing in the background. And for some reason, that just, it just embedded itself into our family tradition.
Yeah.
So every year we watch The Great Dictator afterward. It just gets put on.
Yeah. It's just how it is.
It's part of the Christmas, noise.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. No, well, I get it. I mean, some of these things don't always make rational sense, but they just make sense. They just kind of fit and it just works. I mean, there's nothing.
If anybody was looking through the window, they'd be like, "What
tree?" But a Christmas tree is an excellent Christian symbol, right? So, I mean, it's just it's one of those things. There's
a lot of trees in mythology, Jeremy.
Oh yeah.
Including Christianity.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying it's not like an explicit, laid out thing, right? Like that's one thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying about this point. Everything's pointing to Christ, right?
Right.
This is what St. Nikolai is saying.
Yeah.
Why is there a tree in the garden? Why is there Yggdrasil? Why is there, right? Like there's trees everywhere. There's cosmic trees everywhere. Okay.
Right.
For a reason.
Right.
I don't think there's anything more symbolic of what it means to be the marriage of heaven and earth than a tree.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. So, yeah, Christ fills the hierarchy, which is also a tree.
Yeah. It does look like a tree.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, that's my little. I haven't shown this. It's sometimes on in the background, and it's like shining light on my face. I got it for my daughter and I as a project a couple of years ago. And we soldered it together.
Awesome.
It was fun. Yeah.
That's great.
Christmas spirit that I have on my desk.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll see if I have any more cool Iceland pictures. Oh yeah, here's one. There we go.
I was going to say about the stave churches, Iceland just doesn't really have a lot of trees.
No, they don't. Well, and what was interesting is a lot of the buildings, I don't think these are examples, but a lot of the buildings are like the exterior is tin. It's like they put corrugated tin on and paint it, which is very durable and it's very inexpensive. And it also sheds the snow really well off the roof. But it's so windy there that they have to be careful about what they use. Like you don't see shingles anywhere because shingles just rip off in the wind.
Yeah.
They have 100-mile-an-hour winds there sometimes. So
yeah.
Anyway, this was a lighthouse that was out there. It was really beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then there was speaking of the tree, hold on. The Christmas tree. I was going to share this one. It was really funny. It made me laugh. But it kind of shows just how bad the wind is. Pull it up real quick. I have to find it when we're close. There it is. Let me share this. Mm-hmm. So you can see here. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see they have these huge concrete anchors and cables and chains tying the Christmas tree. And look at the anchor at the bottom. Look at the tree stand. It's a bunch of huge concrete blocks.
That's cute that they turn those blocks into presents.
Yeah, because this is right down. This is right down on the coast, like right down on the shore.
Right.
And so, I mean, like literally behind me, like if I just turned around 180 degrees, the ocean's right there.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, they have to tie this stuff down with some heavy duty rigging. I mean, look at that. Like you can see the chains and the cables with the tighteners on it. But yeah,
that's amazing.
I was like, wow, that's
where did they get that tree?
Good question. You know what though? There is forest. There is a little bit of forest. Okay. It is funny though. He said there's an old Iceland saying that said if you get lost in the forest in Iceland, just stand up. Because most of the trees are pretty short. It's like dwarfy forest. It's not heavy.
It must be really they must be loath to cut a tree down like that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a small area of forest on the island. I would imagine it comes from there, but maybe not. Maybe they bring it in from some other country that's more blessed with trees.
Yeah, they have ways nowadays.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, but no, it was really special. It was really fun. This is like basically this is what it looks like. I'm switching back and forth just so I can kind of preserve some of the privacy of my family, but this was literally, if I was looking the other direction from the Christmas tree, this is what you see.
Do you know what the elevation is of those mountains? Are they very high?
He said these were about like 400 meters, 500 meters, because they're right down on the coast. Right down on the shore. He said the tallest mountain was about what was it, 1,200 meters, I believe. No, it wasn't even that tall. I can't remember. Okay, now I have to look it up. Shoot. Tallest mountain in Iceland.
But then you have to remember it's all sea level there, right?
Oh, 2,000 meters.
2,000
The tallest
meters.
peak is 2,100 meters. Yeah. So
2,100 meters.
Feet. But it's and look, here, I'll pull this up. We'll all get educated together. So 2,119 meters or 6,952 feet. And this is where it's located. So right down on the coast. Reykjavik is up here. And
it looks like a natural harbor there, right?
So yeah, Reykjavik was up here. Or I guess down here. I was on the south. I can't remember. Anyway. Yeah, I was always disoriented on which way was north and south. But no, it's up here on the northern coast, because you would go north to hit the ocean, and that was confusing me in my head. I kept expecting to go south to see the ocean. I thought I was going to be on the south coast, but we were on the north coast up here.
Yeah.
And then the mountain is over here, the tallest mountain.
Yeah. You really need to watch
area. There's like no roads. Nobody goes there. It's like the roads are just around the perimeter.
That's amazing.
So that was fun.
You really need to watch Vikings.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it would be right up now, especially now after having been in Viking territory.
Yeah. Yeah, because plus we've read the Helliand. So the oh no, I'm thinking of the Last Kingdom actually right now.
Last Kingdom was also great. I did enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. That was a Saxon child, right?
Right.
Kidnapped by the Vikings.
Yes. Well, yeah, his family was killed, and then he was raised by
the Vikings or the Danes or whatever. And so there's a bit of a crossover in
this is that Lutheran church.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And the clock worked, and it rang bells every 15 minutes.
Wow.
It made me super happy. I liked it. But yeah, it's I have a couple more.
Speaking of Lutheran church, my husband sent me a video today
of
a woman.
The interior of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was beautiful. There was a children's choir singing Christmas songs as well when we walked in, and I was just like there. But I just wanted you to see the ceiling. It was so pretty.
Yeah. Wow.
It was nice. Anyway, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
My husband sent me a video today, just a short, of a woman in I imagine it's a Lutheran church, because it was in Germany, for a Christmas service, pole dancing.
Oh, you showed that to me in Discord.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. At least she was dressed in white. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
Okay. Yeah. Let's turn this into sacred art.
Okay.
We'll just zip it, Jeremy.
What?
We'll just zip it.
Yeah. I mean, what do you need to say? There's nothing you need to say.
I know.
Pretty obvious.
It's insane.
The problems with that. No, that's pretty much all the cool pictures. I mean, I have a ton of cool pictures of Northern Lights and stuff, but nothing too showy for the screen.
The other night, I have a little story. The other night I was coming home from town, and it was pitch because there was no moon, and it was actually really icy on our road here. We have a gravel road, but it was pretty icy, and I was clipping along because I got nice, I got my high beams on, and it's snowy, so it really lights everything up. I come down this little hill and around a corner, and there's a moose standing right there in the middle of the road.
Whoa.
And my car's like, ee! And I'm like, no. And then I stopped, and I turned down my high beams because it was going.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
And then this other one came out behind it.
Whoa.
And they crossed the road in front of me.
Wow.
That was really nice.
That is
I haven't
really
seen
cool.
moose for a long time here.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see them very often around here either. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So that was really fun.
Yeah, that is. That's quite an encounter. When you come, I was hiking one time and I was hiking up this ridge, and right when we topped the ridge, I was, I don't know, 30 feet away, 25 feet away from a cow and two calves of moose, and they were eating, and she heard us, and she just raised her head up and was looking right in my eyes, and I'm looking right in her eyes, and I was just like, this is really bad.
Yeah.
I was with a buddy of mine, and I just said, just walk backwards, straight backwards, really slowly.
Yeah.
And so we just kept doing that. We were just walking backwards because that confuses animals. They don't know what you're doing if you walk backwards.
Yeah.
So we walked backwards just straight, because if you start trying to go around, that's predator behavior.
Yes.
Then you're stalking them, right?
Yeah.
So with prey animals, you just walk. So we just walked straight backward and back down the hill where I couldn't see her anymore. And then we did a big circle around. But you don't want them to see you stalking like that, or else, the moose wouldn't spook. A moose would attack you. Like a cow moose with two calves, she's not going to run. She's going to run at you. Because
if they're small,
too, yeah. And she was 7 feet at the shoulder.
Cows are huge. Just as big as bulls, really. They just don't have the horn.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to protect their kin,
Yeah.
So yeah.
One year
wild encounter.
It was winter time and the snow was pretty deep, and I was out on when we get wood and stuff, we make these huge piles, like we clean up as we're getting wood. And then we make massive piles, like some of them are like 8 feet high, just massive. And we burn them in the wintertime. Like we go out and light them on. Remember I said we do fires?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was out, it was a Sunday, late morning or whatever. And I said, this is a few years ago. And I said to Uli, I'm going to go look for a fire spot for today. So I was checking out piles.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's a lot of snow, you have to kind of find a pile that's not too covered
or too wet. Yeah.
Anyway,
I went up burning fires in a forest outside. That's a pagan tradition, by the way. No, I'm just kidding.
It's also Christian. They burned a lot of people at the stake.
Nope,
right?
Nope, it's pagan. Pagan and Morgan. Sorry, Christians can't do anything pagans do.
But anyway, so I'm going up this little hill, and all of a sudden, boom, out of the woods comes this moose and a calf, and they're running. They think I'm chasing them, right?
Yeah.
With the snow, or I scared them out. And so we're kind of like, I'm going up the hill and they're going up the hill beside me. And so I just zoomed past them so that they could stop, because the snow was deep. And then I'm like, crap, because I had to go back the same way.
Oh,
like there's nowhere else for me to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I was handier, I could maneuver through the trees with this massive snowmobile. It's really old and heavy and big, long. So anyway, I just went up, and then I turned around and I waited a little bit, and then I came back down and she was gone. So I was like, okay, good. And then I went to look for a fire spot. Right. And so I get down below, and then I see this hump in the snow, and I pull up and I shut the snowmobile off, and then I hear, and she's just somewhere in the trees. I couldn't see her, and she's warning me. And I'm like,
yeah, no kidding.
Starting my snow.
Oof.
I said to Willie, okay, you're going to have to find the fire, because
hell hath no fury as a female moose.
Yeah, who just got chased by you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Wow.
That was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But like I said, we haven't seen very many for a long time. So, and the interesting, historically here in the area, there were elk here originally and no moose. And then the elk got hunted out and the moose moved in.
Hmm.
And now, according to my nephew, I don't know who's in charge of these things. Some arm of the government is trying to repopulate elk to this area, reintroduce them. So he said that they're bringing them in trailers and unloading them.
Oh.
Because all of a sudden, like a year ago, I called my neighbor because there was 2 elk in our back pasture. Never saw an elk here before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Chelsea, I just saw 2 elk. She goes, I saw 25 of them down at the cattle guard, which was just down past our driveway.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And then my nephew told me, yeah, they're bringing them in trailers and unloading them.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's pushing the moose back out.
I don't know.
If they would compete.
So I don't think moose are really intimidated by elks.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because they live in the same territory around here.
Okay, so they live together naturally.
Yeah, because they don't really compete for food. I don't think they eat the same things. Like moose are much more like about the marsh and meadows, you know.
Yeah,
and the elk
they love
don't
willow.
really care about that as much.
Yeah. We also have deer. We have, like, in the springtime, you can just do quick group count, you know, like if there's, you can say, oh, there's 400 deer in a farmer's hayfield.
Jeez.
And they're mule deer.
Oh, man.
They're huge.
So eating all your alfalfa, eating all your hay.
Well, they're just there in the spring. They disappear after everybody starts farming. But in the spring when, you know, before anybody gets out on the fields, it's a little bit wet and it's greening up.
Yeah.
They're all out there.
Huh. Wow.
And so there's a lot of very large herbivores around here.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if they can piece themselves out.
Less hunting up there, right? Like you guys don't hunt a lot. Eh?
Oh, yeah. No, there's hunting.
I know there's guys from here who pay a lot of money to go up there and go hunting.
Yeah, well, if you're
they're usually not going after elk. They go for the mountain goats you guys have.
Yeah. Americans, resident hunters, we have, they call them draws for tags.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many tags available, and that's determined by the size of the population.
Right.
There's no moratorium. Like, there's a lot of people hunting deer, and sometimes you can get 2 or 3 of them. You know, you can get tags for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
There's so many of them here. So many deer. Moose, well, First Nations actually blocked a lot of their own roads and wouldn't let hunters back there who had moose tags because First Nations said, you can't do this. There's no moose. You can't just hunt them. What are you doing? Right. They were still handing out tags. So they started blocking roads, which I was glad for.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we used to see a lot of moose, a lot. And now we hardly ever see them. So I was really happy to see those 2 the other day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I asked my nephew, he's First Nations. And I said to him, are they going to hunt those elk? Is people going to hunt them? He goes, probably. I'm like, no. Why?
Because they taste good. I love it.
White-tailed deer.
Elk is my favorite game meat.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. By far. It's not even close. Like,
what does it taste like? Like, is it?
It's like, I don't know. I like it better than beef. It just has more flavor, but it's not super gamey like deer. Like, I mean, some deer is okay, but most deer is pretty. Around here, they eat a lot of sagebrush, and so it makes them like,
spiced up,
sagey. You know, it makes them sagey and gamey. And I don't mind gamey meat. Like I grew up eating mutton, you know, so like I don't mind strong meat, but like elk is just like perfect. It's like the perfect blend of a little bit of flavor to it, but it's still really mild. You know, it's basically like
they're big too. Like there's a lot of meat there.
Yeah, like if you think of chicken as like halibut, then elk would be like salmon, right? So it's fishy but pleasant. It's like a pleasant fishy taste. So that's how I think of elk. Elk meat is like a really pleasant game flavor.
Right.
I like it.
I've never had it. We used
the
to.
opposite end of that spectrum for me is antelope. Antelope is the gamiest meat I've ever eaten.
Oh, really?
It's really strong flavor. Yeah.
What kind
Because
of
they
antelope
just
do you have there?
all they eat is sagebrush, and all they do is run, and so it's really lean, like really lean, and just
Is it pronghorn?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They hunt them in Wyoming. There's not really many in Utah, but
They have a lot of
in
them
Wyoming, they're all over the place. So people hunt them
Yeah.
out there. I had some antelope when I was living in
Do
Wyoming.
you guys have wild boar?
No,
Like domesticated pigs that have gone
not
wild?
here. No. Mm-mm.
A huge problem in Alberta now.
Really? I didn't
And I
think
heard
they'd survive
Texas
in the
too.
cold.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Oh, we don't have them here, thankfully.
Yeah.
They reintroduced turkeys about 20 years ago, and now they're everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So, especially like in central Utah and in Colorado, there's wild turkeys all over the place. But we have pheasants that are coming back, which is really great. I love. I can't bring myself to eat them anymore because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I grew up eating a lot of pheasant when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were gone. Like there were a ton, and then they were gone, and now they're back.
Interesting.
People don't eat them as much anymore. People are not into the more exotic flavors anymore.
Yeah.
People, especially in Utah, people like really bland food. I don't know, I guess it's the British background, like the British origins of the most Utah people come from the British Isles, and they're not about they're not exploratory when it comes to food.
Mm-hmm.
They like really mild flavors. So yeah, so I think as a result, we're getting a lot of game birds are coming back. Sage chickens are coming back. The pheasants are coming back. Grouse is coming back. Quail's coming back because people just don't. The doves coming back. I have a mating pair of doves that have been here ever since I've lived here, like 8 years, 9 years. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. We always have a pair that come through in the later spring, but they never stick around. And my sister's got a pair that stay at her house. Yeah. So I don't know if they go higher because she's at 4,000 feet. We're not that high. So I don't know if the reason, if they're just moving through and going up, and if they prefer being up higher.
Could be. Possible. Yeah, we've got a pair that hang out all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That was another interesting thing about Iceland. Very little wildlife. Very little.
I can imagine.
There's only one native mammal, and that is the Arctic fox.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Mice and rats come there, but they've just been introduced by the ships, right?
What do they eat? There's got to be another animal.
Birds.
Rats?
Bird eggs.
Oh.
Yeah, now mice and rats. But for a while I think they just lived on birds.
Wow. Interesting.
There are a lot of birds.
Yeah.
Although we didn't see a lot. I think there's a lot in the summer. That's when
I remember this guy on Bridges of Meaning. He turned his camera on in the voice chat once to show us snow geese all over the front lawn of the building he was working in.
Yeah. I did see some geese.
Yeah, snow geese.
Saw some seagulls.
So I guess
but there's just not a lot of wildlife, like driving around. You see nothing.
Horses and sheep. That's the wildlife.
Yeah, that's it. Horses and sheep and crazy people.
Did you know that? I mean, he told me this. A lot of the traditional Icelandic food is cooked in lactic acid. They didn't have fire.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that, but that makes total sense. I did have some of the
most disgusting.
I had the fermented shark while I was there. They have a classic like Iceland. They call it like the best medicine in the world. There's one shark that doesn't have a bladder. The Greenland shark does not have a bladder, and they kill it, and so the meat all has uric acid. It has urea in it, right? So the whole meat. So they catch it and then they hang it, And if you eat it right then when they catch it, it's poisonous. It'll kill you.
Yeah.
But by fermenting it, it breaks the ammonia down, and makes a very strong flavored meat. And so I'll see if I have a picture of it. 1 second, because it was just a little like cube of.
Yeah, like he said there was a sheep's head cooked in lactic acid, which was a traditional Icelandic food, and some other quite a bit of lactic acid, cooked meals.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah, because fire was hard. Well, there's a lot of stories I've read a few of the folk tales, fairy tales. There's a lot of stories where the like they're on an island, like one of the smaller islands right around Iceland. There were like, a few families who would live out there, and like all the fires went out. And so someone would have to, I shouldn't have shown that yet. Hold on, sorry. Hold on. That's distracting. So all the fires on the island would go out. So someone had to like swim to go to the mainland to get a fire, to get embers again.
Wow.
And bring them back. And then they would, talk somebody into getting a boat and then coming back.
Can you imagine if you let the fire go out?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah, I was just like, oh no, right? You can't get it
going. I fell asleep and the fire went out. Oh my God.
So that was a big problem, because that's a common theme in a lot of the tales and fairy tales. Like the fire went out, so he had to go, he swam across, or it was like he had to get a boat, and then he had to win across, and then it took him a while to find another house. And, it was just like, that's part of that was a common problem, apparently, was.
Did you ever, or did you get to see any of the traditional old sod houses that they lived in?
I didn't have any pictures of it, but yes, I did. There was there's one hotel actually where they've kept a bunch of them, and you can stay in one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they actually used cattle placentas for the windows, because they didn't have glass.
Wow.
Or glass was really expensive, and so they figured out you can stretch a cattle placenta, and it was basically like a skylight. It would let in like diffused light,
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I remember. Whoops, go ahead.
Well, I remember reading about these sod houses where the animals were kept in a section.
Yep.
And like multi-generational family lived in there.
Yep.
And they kept it warm with body heat because they didn't really have fire.
Right. Right. Well, and some of them did figure out, like they'd build next to geothermal, because there's geothermal springs all over the place.
Oh, right.
So they would use that water to heat a lot. I mean, and actually that's how Iceland still heats all the buildings.
Yeah.
They just use geothermal water. So like you're heating, like the tour guide told us, his heating bill is like $10 a month year round.
Yeah.
And his power bill is about $10 a month because it's geothermal power. It's very abundant. But okay, cool. So here's my shark. So here's the shark, and then you have to.
That's shark?
Yeah, that little cube is a cube of shark, and it's fermented shark, and it had a very strong, very strange flavor. I like canned fish. I like kipper snacks. I like, canned sardines and stuff. And so but this had a really strong, it felt like vinegar, basically. It was like a really strong vinegary flavor to it. And it definitely cleared your sinuses out. And then this is a shot of the Icelandic alcohol, which is basically like vodka.
Oh, okay.
And so you eat this, and I noshed on it for a while because I was just curious, and then you knock it back with a shot of vodka.
Wow.
And then you've had Iceland's best medicine. That's what they have to offer.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten sick, so here we go.
Yeah. Good for you. So it was like a little appetizer type thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dish. It was just like a cultural thing, right? It was like all the old fishermen. That's what they would eat before they would go out.
Okay.
That's what they had like in the morning,
right?
Before they go fishing, that was their breakfast.
Chunk of shark and a vodka.
another one of those had to be tough kind of things, right? Or else you weren't going to make it. But
well, it's these things just withstand the test of time. The people that ate that and drank the vodka, they lived.
Yeah, right.
The ones who didn't, they died.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was just so hard to eke a living out there, and they were all just like either farmers or fishermen, and the farmers were just living on sheep because sheep can feed themselves pretty well, pretty easily. But that or just go fishing. But like even that, like fishing, let me bring up a picture. Like we went out just the surf one morning, like I can't imagine trying to go out and go fishing in the surf. You'd have to find a place where you could get past the waves because it was just crazy. Tide was just starting to come in, and I think I have a video of it where you can see. I did have one. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so let me share this. Share. So I'll pull up this video. Hey, like,
wow.
It's just rocky shore, and then
wicked.
Let's see. I had a better one. Let's see. It was a little earlier than this. It was like, yeah, these. So I ventured out to try to catch like where these waves were breaking. I wanted to get photos. These aren't very good photos. They're kind of grainy, but you can just see how. And this is where I had. You could see a little more of how the surf was breaking. Maybe that one won't come up. This one's a good one. Come on. It doesn't want to play. Anyway, you can see those waves.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crash. Yeah, it was
dangerous.
Was wild. Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah. So like going out in that and going fishing was just like, oof, that would be rough.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
I don't want to play. I'll go back to small screen and you can see it. So yeah, you had to be, this is tough territory. You had to be very hardy and very sober to get through living in this climate.
Well, this is the fascinating thing about, these Viking videos I've been watching. Their ships were just amazing. Like their shipbuilding skills were incredible.
Yeah.
And at first they rowed. They didn't have sails. That came later. That was like they must have seen it somewhere or whatever. Like these guys were all over the place. Okay, all over the world. And one of the things they said about the ship burials was the sails were never buried with the ships. The sails were always kept and reused because they were really expensive because they were woven out of wool.
Oh, wow.
But really fine.
Yeah.
So they were not, super heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you think of all the decadence, but then there was somebody had a half a brain in their head and said, "No, not that."
Yeah.
That costs a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. You can do whatever you want to this other stuff, but not
you can kill her and him and them, but not the sails, okay?
Yeah.
That's basically how it went. Insane.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is to think of digging a hole
for a whole ship.
For a whole ship.
There was a fairly recent discovery. I don't know if it's like 7 years old now or something like that. In Estonia, of all places, 2 ship burials.
Wow.
One of them was an old Viking ship, but they were buried at the same time. One was just an ore ship, and the other one was a ship with sails, but the sails weren't there. One of them had, the smaller one had 6 men on it, and the larger one, 37 that were killed in battle.
Wow. That's wow.
And I think the year for that ship, those 2 ships was 650.
Jeez.
Okay.
That's wild. Yeah,
So
well, and
this is very, very
grounds
early.
so you can see if, like, here, go dig a hole. For a ship.
Well, there are some places in Sweden, islands, that never did ship burials, but they would bury them in the shape of a ship.
Huh.
And they would put these rune stones on top.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the rune stones would have depictions of, you know, the person's life, and at the bottom it would have a ship. And that was their ship burial, but it was just written on the rune stone in depictive form. It's really fascinating because the only thing they know about the culture is through the excavation of burial sites.
Wow.
So in order to understand the living, they had to study the dead.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Because there's not that much written. So that Arab guy, can't remember his name anymore, but
Marco Polo.
No. But he's one of the few that actually wrote down, you know,
one of these funerals. Wow.
A report of,
you'll have to send me a link. That sounds interesting.
I will definitely. There's 3 lectures by Neil Price they're 12 years old, but they're really good.
Wow. That sounds cool.
Really, really good. One's the Children of Ash, it's called, the cosmology of the Vikings. And then, life and afterlife. And then, the third one, I can't remember exactly what it's called. I think the mind of the Viking, or the Viking mind, because what he ended up developing was this theory that they were staging, like these burials were staged. Like people were put in really deliberate positions, you know, like a man and a woman placed head to head, and an infant, probably they all died of disease or something, like, and the infant with her hand on the infant's head, you know, but it's all telling a story. And then the rune stones with the runestone ship burial, because they didn't ship burial on this island called Birka. It's also a layered story, and the ship is the basis of it. Like it's really, really fascinating.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds great.
It's really good. And then especially because we read the Helliand, right? So, I mean, the Angles were Danish or close to Denmark anyways, like, you know.
And German. Well, the Saxons, I guess. I wasn't thinking of the Angles.
Yeah, the Angles were more Scandinavian, like closer to Scandinavia, and then the Saxons, and then they went to England at some point and became Anglo-Saxon. And but
and neither the Anglos nor the Saxons are really happy with that hyphenation.
Right. Yeah.
To this day.
Well, it's kind of a bastardization. I mean, it's what happened to the people when they got there. They intermarried, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like talking about Greeks and Turks. Like, they hate each other, but, you know, they probably share a lot of common genetics.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
Neither of the countries want to talk about that.
But language-wise, linguistic-wise, the Germanic tribes, the Scandinavian tribes, like he was saying, you know, if these people came into contact with one another over time, they would quickly hear the similarities in their languages, right, and be able to communicate, you know, enough for trade or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what's wild is now, I was reading this article. They did a survey of like people in high school, like kids in high school, and it was like 5% of them knew that English was Germanic in origin. Like they all thought it was Latin or Greek or what, you know. It's just like, what are they teaching in school? Like, they've done all they can to hide that we have a German,
it's
England and Germany are very closely.
And all of those are Indo-European.
Right.
And that Indo-European spreads to India and Iran.
Right.
Sanskrit and whatever, Persian, I guess. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
English, German, Scandinavian, they're all related.
Right. Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would love that guy. Okay. Jackson Crawford is his name. He's a philologist and he's an Old Norse specialist. And he does some so he was consulted for Vikings, for a lot of, and anything to do with Vikings. And he quit the academy. He's a professor of Old Norse, and he's a full-time YouTuber, and then he offers Old Norse courses.
Oh, cool.
And he's really great. He's in Colorado.
Oh, nice.
Really great guy.
Yeah, I'll check it out. That sounds right up my alley.
And I started watching him when we started the Helliand.
Oh, nice.
And then because I was watching Jackson Crawford's videos, and he's not like, he's kind of a wet blanket kind of guy. He'll always say, we don't know.
Yeah.
What do these runes say? And he's constantly debunking all these like pagan aficionados who are talking about things as, it's like, no. Not that.
Yeah.
So I like hearing from him because he's really thoughtful about what he's saying. And he's the one actually that he has a video on the baptismal vow of the Saxon baptismal vow, which is almost word for word the same as the one that still exists in the Orthodox Church, except that they had to renounce Odin.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, and different. Depending on your background, there are passages that you read as part of your, that where you're denouncing
different things.
Yeah. So they have like, if you're Roman Catholic, you got to read this. If you are Lutheran, you got to read this. If you were, they have different passages that you read where you renounce specific teachings.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't. I wasn't anything.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't either. They need one for the Mormons, but they don't have one because Orthodoxy hasn't been in contact with Mormonism for very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, in all the traditional European religions where people were converting from those religions, they had kind of compiled a list of like the problematic teachings or beliefs from those.
Oh, I see. Interesting
perspectives.
Yeah, but if anybody's interested, Jackson Crawford has a good video on the baptismal vow in Saxon, and he usually has like the writing next to him, like on the screen, and then he kind of goes through it, and yeah, it's really, I love it.
That's cool.
I'm a language nerd, word nerd.
Yeah, no,
like
same.
you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I was just there was a word. Unwanted, but it was WONTED, and I didn't really know what want meant. Like, I've heard the phrase "as we are wont to do," but I looked it up. Want, as we are wont to do, and it means accustomed, like as we're accustomed to doing. So unwanted is like unaccustomed. So the word was, I think it was in this. If it wasn't in this, I think it was in a different account, where it was talking about Joseph when he came to the cave, and the light was so bright that it was unwanted. It was like unfamiliar. Unaccustomed to light. It was just like
such a bright light.
Yeah, I thought that was. I ran into that word. I had never actually looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, it's a great word. I'm going to bring that one back.
You have to say it right though, otherwise nobody will get it.
Well,
they'll think it's unwanted. Unwanted. They'll think unwanted, but it's unwanted.
Yeah. Unwanted, as we are wont to do. Yeah,
as we are wont.
Yeah. Now your Canadian's coming out.
About.
unwanted, eh? Yeah, I use unwanted, eh? Yeah,
I
right.
put some on the Girl Country Discord. I put some obligatory Canadian Christmas programming.
Nice.
The Schmingies, The Boy Who Couldn't Wait for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas special.
Nice. That's fun. That's good.
Little short ones. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to have to go, Jeremy, but
I do too.
I'm wishing all of you and you, Jeremy,
thank you,
the merriest of Christmases. And are we going to roll next Tuesday, or do you want to take a holiday break? Or
no, what is it? The 30th. Ooh, okay. So I have a big party that I'm throwing on the 31st. So let's do a TBD on that.
Okay,
I'm open to it, but I might have to do some preparation for my party. So let me see.
No problem.
I'll let you know for sure, like a day or two before. So it's a definite maybe.
For all you kiddies out there, it's only 2 more sleeps.
Only what?
2 more sleeps.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And then the feasting begins and the celebrations and
yeah, really, I was encouraging people when we had the Christmas party on the voice chat. I said, feast, you must feast,
Yeah.
Make it the best day ever for you and for everyone around you.
Yeah, and do your best to keep the 12 days of Christmas alive. I think that's really great.
I made enough food to feed an army, and it's just the 2 of us. So I said to my husband, I said, "You have work to do, my friend." We are going to be eating all through, for the next 2 weeks.
Us too. We got to get rid of, our company gives us turkeys and hams, and it's usually right in the middle of fasts that we get these things.
So it goes
we've got to kind of stack it up. And so it's like, and then my wife and I work at the same place. So we get double of everything. So I was like, well, I guess we'll just New Year's Eve party. We're going to cook up a couple of turkeys and have some turkey. Nice. Happy New Year. So
I bought a small turkey I want to make. We're not big turkey fans.
Yeah.
We used to do, a guy would do a turkey dinner if my parents were coming and stuff, But my parents are moved now too. So, but oftentimes if it was just us and the kids, we do fondue, Swiss fondue.
Oh, yeah.
Or raclette or something Swiss.
Yeah.
And those are fun meals because they're easy.
Yeah.
But they're really communal, right? Everybody sits around and talks. And
you do the
it's fun.
Have you done the toast with the cheese? Where they have that special toast machine that you put the bread and put cheese on?
Oh, that's raclette.
That's
when you put the cheese underneath and it melts, and then you scrape it off onto a potato. That's raclette.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah.
So raclette. Good. Yeah, we have a raclette, and we did raclette for my husband's birthday on the 28th of November. Is his birthday. Fun. So we did a raclette then, and I think Christmas Eve we'll do a fondue, and then I bought tons of cheese.
Yeah, nice.
And and we'll just cheese our way through the holidays.
There you go.
Cheese and meat.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you a fun one last little Iceland tradition.
Yeah.
So they have the 13 Yule Lads, not on the 12 days of Christmas, but leading up to Christmas. So there's one every day, and they come and they stay. Each one of them stay for 13 days. So, and the first one comes on the 12th, so he stays until Christmas. But the other ones are staying, and the last one comes on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day, something like that. And then, but he stays for another, 13 days afterward. And each one of them, they're like little trickster ogres. So there's the father and the ogre mother, or the father and mother ogre live in the highlands in the mountains, and they're always hungry. And so they send the kids, the Yule Lads, into Reykjavik one at a time, to go and scrounge food, basically, so they can stay alive for another year. And so there's like one day There was one of them who like stands outside the window and stares in. There was another one, they would steal the food bowl because they would eat in a wooden bowl and then they would put it on the floor and for the dogs, and they would the Yule Lads would steal one of those and hide, and they would eat it out. And one day they would steal all your sausages, and so there was different.
Cool. So you saw that happening?
What's that? Yeah. Well, there was definitely people talking about it, and it was a thing around, and they were every day you would kind of hear what the guy was of the day. There were
and you never knew where they were going to pop up, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were always just doing little tricky stuff.
Oh, that's cool. That's kind of like
a little tradition.
What that thing that I shared? I don't remember. The demon that comes with Saint Nicholas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Krampus.
Krampus, that's right. Yeah, similar, very similar. I'll pull up a little.
Somebody posted a video about this on the Girl Country Discord too.
Yeah, here we go. This one isn't super great, but you'll get the idea. I know you got to go, and I got to go too, but
well, you don't have to go to work. I take it.
Sharing this. That's true. I'm not working tomorrow. No,
okay.
I'm not.
No, at least that.
I'm not working tomorrow. So.
Okay. They're like the Seven Dwarfs.
The spoon licker. There's stubby, abnormally short steals pans to eat the crust left on them. Steals leftovers from pots. Hides in gullies, waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the cow shed and steal the milk. Harasses the sheep, impaired by his stiff peg legs. Hides under beds, waiting for someone to put down their wood bowl, which he then steals. Likes to slam doors, especially during the night. We had some fun with that one in our building. We participated in. We may have been helping him a little bit. We had someone to blame,
Right.
A Yule Lad with an affinity for skyr, which is another like fermented fish. Would hide in the rafters and snatch sausages that were being smoked. A voyeur who would look through the windows in search of things to steal. So you get the idea. Bunch of little trickster demons, the trolls basically, that were causing havoc, getting ready for Christmas.
That's cool.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
So there we go. This is our Iceland Nativity episode. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
That was great, Jeremy. Thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you missed the first part of this, go back and listen to the Nativity. We shared the Nativity out of the Synaxarion, and it's just an account of the Nativity, and there's probably some details in there that you've never heard before.
It was really beautiful.
Yeah, so
made me want to buy myself. I don't have a Synaxarion, so I think I'm gonna have to get one.
It's a very helpful devotional to
just sit and read.
Yeah, to just sit and read the lives of the saints,
Yeah, beautiful.
So anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Merry Christmas. God bless you.
Wonderful and Merry Christmas, and God bless.
And we'll try to do a show next week, but I can't promise.
We'll see.
I have a lot of preparation to do, but
no pressure.
I hope so. I hope to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Good night.
Good night, all.